my god! Oh my god! I'm insane!
And after that, you got to be wondering what could possibly take number.
A new legend. We are here with the first weekend of the ALGS in match day 7 and now 8, the doubleheader for Group A to determine where they will leave themselves waiting and watching next weekend before we head into our regional finals. Stakes are high. But my vibes are even higher because I got my boy Bravo with me. I'm Rain Day. Welcome to the show, everybody. Bravo, it's great to have you here, man. We got an action-packed weekend and an action-packed Sunday here to follow up what was a great day yesterday.
We do, man. You and I have been talking kind of about what we've seen in scrims the past few weeks leading into yesterday. And as you said, a really interesting mix yesterday of examples where Season 29 stuff was a big factor, a lot of Axel in some places and specifically regions, and other places where games kind of played out as normal. But with a different map rotation today, I think we're going to see things changed up even yet again for your match day 8 rotation.
Yeah, obviously Olympus and E-District, that was a kind of very particular way to play the game, and these pros adapted to it. But in terms of those adaptations, what was some of the highlights for you, Brav, watching alongside?
Yeah, take a look at this. I love this play. Right away, drops down off bridge, cuts through Neon so fast, by the way, with the first gate. They're looking for an angle on Huss. That's exactly what Kurev's looking for. Take a look how he first takes the angle, but even more importantly, maybe, are the Hemi shots here, because he just absolutely locks onto Deeds. Unbelievable control, and guess what? You get the knock, you gate again. Axel gives you that option, and he avoids the EMP here and even still gets the ult off. Now, even though this ult, take a look, it clears forward space. It doesn't take anyone out, but all you want to do is clear bridge there. And on the other side of this, guess what? Huss also running Axel. You can see Deeds actually take that pad just at the bottom left of that building. They get away completely, and you'll see here on NIP's reaction, right? They're wondering exactly which building, how can we get to them, right? They realize they can't really close in on this, and you can just take a look. I mean, Kurev's kind of looking back and forth, realizing we can't push this. So I think, Rain, it's such a good example of what Axel gives you on both sides in terms of being able to push a fight, and also if the other team's running Axel, ability to also disengage.
It's one of the fastest disengages that exists in Apex today, and so players obviously going to showcase both sides, even though maybe the highlights from Axel have been more offensive across the league. From APAC North to EMEA to Americas, we saw the introduction of this character, and we saw wins with this character, banned in first games as well, Brav. I mean, she certainly had an impact.
Yeah, she really did, and as you see on the screen, multiple match wins, like you said, across every region. Here was Orgless and Hungry, by the way. This is EMEA game 1. Just really good examples where they were able to pad in to get third parties finished, and it also pad in to kind of finish the game as well. So I think a really interesting mix overall across the regions. As you see, we also saw NIP running it here in some late game where they're able to also take advantage of both the Axel and Alter synergy. When you have 2 Qs for each of those legends, it can create some pretty wild scenarios, especially late games as well.
And the nutty thing is, when you look across APAC South, APAC North, and Americas, you had Axel wins and bans. And then EMEA, Axel survives until the entire final game. I mean, what was going on there? Were we just seeing EMEA saying, hey, let's hold back here, let's do what we know best? Felt a little bit isolated from how the rest of the world was attacking this character.
Yeah, I think what you get here in EMEA is kind of the map rotation being a huge factor, and then EMEA itself being a big factor. Like you guys talked about yesterday, there tends to be a little bit of kind of a kind of deviation towards that median. If you think about everyone kind of staying towards what they're comfortable with, like we talked about, unbanned in EMEA, that tracked for scrim bans across the week on that map rotation. I think so. What we saw in both Americas and EMEA, for anyone who's been watching scrims for the past few weeks, but I want to specifically say this week, scrims have kind of, bans have kind of gone the way of scrim. So I'm expecting things to stay consistent, but on a different map rotation today.
Yeah, they really did. We were talking earlier this week before this weekend got started, and it was exactly what we expected. EMEA just settling into more of those characters, seeing things like Catalyst bump up, a lot more comfortability with the elements that they've been used to, and then trying to translate that to now, even though this meta has significantly changed. Maybe in EMEA, they're just waiting until today to change it for us. But again, there were good things. There were also some not so good things yesterday. What stood out to you is maybe a flop on the side of some of our pros yesterday.
Yeah, one thing that was tough to watch was Citadel's kind of return here after the mid-season break, and I think a team that a lot of people have talked about for good reason. You had the record-breaking day from them, the record-breaking day from Zuni. Let's not forget that was kind of quickly shattered shortly thereafter, but the biggest part about Citadel was they were in 14th. They jump up 2 spots. They're coming in 12th. They're all of a sudden on the bubble, and then yesterday, unfortunately, 16th place, and we saw Zuni talk about it yesterday, Rain, that they need to go absolutely huge today.
Yeah, Zuni, a little bit emotional in the tweet, and you could tell disappointment was the main theme of it. Awful day today. We're doing such complex things so well, but we're forgetting the simple things. It's going to be rough to qualify for EWC, he says, but they know they're a better team, and it's just a matter of getting the win. Don't count them out, he says, so we'll be keeping a close eye on Citadel Gaming and Zuni. And it comes, Brav, at a tough time, right after he broke records for his performance, so you know that that's got to be a mental battle he's facing, how to get back to that form, which obviously you don't want to be a 1 in a million. You wanted that to be your new standard. It's difficult, though, when everyone's trying to hit that form heading into these regional finals and ultimately land.
Yeah, and like we said, coming in here with 12th, they need to go absolutely huge to get away from that land cut off. And we talk about other things kind of from yesterday that I think we saw. There's some new mechanics in the game, without a doubt, and this one was a fun one to watch.
The death box respawn. If you don't know, you can now respawn your teams quickly from their death box. It sounds good. 7 seconds, why not? until you know, the environment plays a little bit of a prank on you.
We've seen it before. The Humber wall, the Labs wall, the timing of it. Yanya thinks maybe, okay, maybe I can get a Medi. I can get a Medi. I'm gonna have to queue, and I think everyone knew it. By the way, we were already off his POV on the main feed, but I think everyone who had seen the beginning of this knew exactly where this was going. So just a good example of everyone kind of knowing there's new mechanics in the game, but there's still a little bit of timing dialing to be done here, without a doubt.
It's a great example of, too, handling so many of the complicated things, the meta, the character, the weapons, and then forgetting some of the simple things. And that does happen when you're just jumping in after a few weeks break and you're trying to apply all these new things you've been practicing. Group A versus C, they're the teams we'll be watching today. Again, Group A
Mates reunited, by the way, now an all French speaking roster, so they're going to be very comfortable, and they've sounded comfortable not only in scrims but in the scrim results as well, and of course reuniting here from the Le Citadel de France days.
Yeah, what a fantastic team, too. This was always a bunch of potential. Couldn't really find the results that they needed to be a top team in Europe, but they were always a team that you never want to face. Kind of like one of those road teams. You go there, you're like, oh, it's going to be a tough game, even though they're never in contention for the championship. That's changed, but Zidane stood out as an individual. He continued to stand out, but maybe has a little bit of a chip on his shoulder lately after going in, winning a championship with Hayarka and Ushako, and now having to be the journeyman, finding his own way back. Well, it's so interesting that, you know, he found his way back to one of his old teammates, Kiner and him, doing what they do best, hopefully on make EU great again. And I think ultimately this is a great showcase for Zidane to say, I've got the pieces in place now. Can I go ahead and get back to the top of the mountain by myself, proving that maybe I wasn't the problem, I was the solution for that team.
Yeah, and also one opportunity for him. Zidane, by the way, will be IGLing on this team. Talked with the coach. I talked with the team this week. He will be moving into that role. They're excited about what that might mean for them. And here's a look at the Pro League standings so far.
Gives us a great overview, bird's eye of what's got to go down today. You look at these teams, 9th place is the cutoff for getting a qualification into LAN. Obviously, regional finals is a big thing. We have to kind of take note of this, not to put a damper on how hyped this is, but the fact is, if you make the 20 and then you win regional finals, you get a chance to obviously go to LAN, but you still earn the points from your placement in regional finals, and those points are actually multiplied. So you get more points per a regular placement than you would at that final day on day 10. So you got to make it there. If you do, you get a chance. So all these teams still fighting for 9th, but they know there's a little wiggle room there. And speaking of that, Group A, talking about wiggle room, well, these teams could go either way, Brav, and they're hoping that they go the right way.
Yeah, we're looking at Orgless and Hungary, Zipline and Heaven or Icon, by the way, 19th, 21st, and 24th, respectively, coming into the weekend. So a little bit further out than they want to be, but I think one thing that you got to highlight on Zipline, he kind of went under the radar yesterday. Excuse actually was second on the day in kills with 15, so it's a very big day from him. We'll see if they can repeat.
And the fantastic part about this is, you know, these teams all have so much potential. Excuse, you know, talking about what you had mentioned being a almost a second place kill leader and being so successful. These teams have individuals that can stand out. Can they put it together, though? I think Citadel Gaming was the perfect example heading into this. There's so many teams who have potential. We saw yesterday in Americas, teams get their very first wins. Source Gaming's HBM play fantastic, but can they put it together over the course of not just one game like we saw Orgless and Hungary do in game 1 with Axel and get the win? Can they do it over the course of 6 games in this series? That is what's going to determine whether they deserve and earn themselves a spot in that regional final, and especially in that top 9 where they will feel very, very comfortable. Remember, Brav, they don't play next weekend, so even if they're in that 20 now, that they're not guaranteed to be in that 20 next weekend as well. So they've got to get as far ahead as possible in these standings. Now, you and I doing a great job setting it up, but we are not alone today. We've got the wonderful Spider Tiff joining us yet again on the broadcast. Tiff, welcome back. How you been doing?
Hey guys, honestly, we're going to forgo everything that I've been dealing with for the last 2 hours. I've been fantastic. I cranked open an energy drink, ate a cupcake, and I'm ready to go get down on some Apex.
I love it. I love it. And honestly, this is a big one for all of us here. Group A, their final doubleheader. I know you and Brav have a lot to talk about, and I'm going to let you get to talking. So let's get it on. Without further ado, match day 8 begins. Game 1 right around the corner. And Brav, Tiff, take it away.
Let's get into it. Brav, I'm so excited though. I know we had a couple chances to meet up last week, chat Apex, and especially what we're going to be seeing here today with the map rotation, Storm Point and E District. I love that we're starting on Storm Point.
Yeah, it's going to be a fantastic day. And for anyone who watched yesterday, of which I know there are many of you, it's going to be a very different day in terms of ban order, just because as you and I have watched, Tiff, like for the past few weeks, the application of Axel on Storm Point is completely different than we've seen, even pick rates compared to ED. So it's going to be a very different game, number 1.
I know, and I love that you guys talked about APAC North and what we were seeing with Axel utilization, but it just hasn't been super prevalent in some of our other regions. Now that we've got the POI draft and where everyone's kind of starting from, let me know post Trident removal where the shakeups are.
Yeah, there's some big ones here. We didn't get to talk about it too much because there's yesterday, because by the time you get to Olympus, things are kind of a little bit different. But take a look at Mill, by the way, Pixel Lumina. Mill went 18th instead of 4th on average.
Crazy.
You've also got other POIs. If you take a look at Echo HQ, kind of deprioritized all the way down to 17th. DB went 19th instead of 7th. So if anyone was wondering how soon the Trident removal would impact POI draft, those days are here and came right away, and you're seeing a lot more central picks once the Trident was removed.
Well, let's see. We talked about the bubble teams early on. You guys highlighted it so well at the top of the show. But if you find yourself outside looking in, this is going to have to be an absolute flawless series out of you. You have no room for error, and I want to see all of the action.
Me too. That's especially speaking of the action, the first thing we're going to at least keep an eye on. We'll see if it plays out. Anyone who's been watching Europe Scrims knows about the Alliance and the Horde up north. That is a contest that has been about a 100% contest rate. And interestingly, both teams running Conduit specifically for the contest. So a pretty fun 3v3 to watch off the rip. Alliance won 3 for 3 as of the most recent scrim. So we'll see if they've scared the Horde off of that contest or if maybe they'll be down for it once again.
Look, you know how much I miss contests, right?
Me too.
You know how much we used to have them back in the day, and the POI draft kind of shakes up everything. So where we can potentially get those early fights, those are the kind of things that I'm living for and even reminiscing on. But you know, the Horde is going to be a team that's not shy of taking that. But if you lose 3 for 3 in scrims, I can see how there would be that deterrence. But I'm like looking at it, Hardeki, Kazakh, like come on, 9 Impulse. Those are our heavy fighting people that are going to want to get into it. But match number 1, baby, let's see if we get it.
That's the question. Also, one thing that's interesting too is the Horde has been running Sparrow on that contest, which, don't get me wrong, I'm as big a Sparrow fan as the next guy, but when you're going up against Hakis and Drone, not only is he probably getting Evo Harv way faster than you, but he also has eyes on you plus an EMP. We'll have to see how this plays out. And the big questions, by the way, Conduit is in the select, so that pretty much would guarantee that we are going to see Alliance at least looking for that contest. And of course, the first mission for them is going to be not only looting, but essentially, you kind of hear it in the comms, as soon as Harvesters pop, they make a decision on are they grabbing the Harv or are they going straight to the contest, but they will be looting as fast as they possibly can. Hakis usually hits a slightly delayed UAV here just to get a little bit more info before the contest, and here they come, the Horde already pushing up in trenches.
I feel like we need some big battle cries out of them right now, some long range pokes. That's where you're going to want to see them grab potentially, like, honestly, Wingman's a great long range thing as well, but sometimes those longbows in the back half of Kazakh there, Rampage. So we're just going to utilize these rocks for cover and try to see, can we maybe grab it down and then capitalize off of that?
Yeah, let's go ahead and see Kazakh, as you see, by the way, still on the Sparrow, so they're sticking with, even though we saw them kind of get knocked around, to be honest, the side of Alliance, by the way. Taking a look here at Heaven or Icon, also getting interesting around Zipline. They're even thinking about pushing in. That's going to actually be a DevCoast HQ contest off the break as well, and Heaven or Icon loses 2 off the opening, so not something we've seen too often in terms of that back dev rotation. So also taking place. So honestly, both corners of the map action off the rip.
Yeah, it's pretty quick, right? We saw that Aurora immediately pick up a kill within the first 30 seconds, but back to the north we go. Alliance. Now, historically, they've been the defenders of North Pad no matter what. Anyone that wanted to chow them, not going to accept it. So the Horde backing away, looking for an opening angle, and sometimes you just got to bring in the utilities. And having Axel, you were talking about this. What was that going to look like for EMEA? And that'll connect.
Oh, damage, but not a knock there. And right away, take a look at the Conduit Q just immediately. That's what you get with Conduit in these contests, just immediately. Even the Axel ult It just doesn't do enough damage. They're gonna destroy the Axel ult from the other side. However, it's gonna be Nox coming in, and now this is what I was wondering. This is Ben coming in, by the way, from DB. They want the third party.
But they're not the only ones coming in. We are having everyone kind of full send, look for information. Even Colonel Node wants to kind of take some angles on this, but into the trenches we go. Miscom, trying to stay information heavy. That's all you can do. Keep cover, take smart fights, and if you think this is something that you can easily access, go for it.
By the way, the Horde is actually just yeeted out to checkpoint. Colonel Node maybe bit off more than they could chew here, as Beamsy will go down as well. It's just Orbit. As you had mentioned, Tiff, this is going to be your checkpoint team, and I think they're getting bullied around now by the DB team.
Bro, as soon as Slab decides, I'm going to get in there with my RE45, let it rip a couple times, we're done. We have made everything that we can. I think this is time we filter through the checkpoint, because the best thing with the circle pulling relatively southern central, more mid-map on Storm Point, you can't afford to go down because everyone rotates in, even with those death box respawns coming in, and well, we've seen hit or miss. It can keep the pace of play very quick.
That's going to be Colonel Node getting taken down. By the way, that really, when you saw the Horde and Alliance taking that long for the fight, you had a feeling, and I think both teams knew this, and a lot of people watching knew this, if that fight, and Graceful talked about it yesterday, isn't wrapped up fast enough, teams are going to get really curious. And what we actually saw there, by the way, Kazakh survives. He actually goes out through checkpoint and now wraps back to DB, so the Horde will be looking for a reset. But just a really good example of, if you don't wipe your fight, especially one that the whole lobby knows about, if you don't wipe that fast enough, a lot of people are going to join the party.
It's been interesting, and now we got EMPs coming through. Keep an eye on Max Strafe as he takes to the sky there. Kaiswini incredibly low on that road, but they're behind, and through the fence, it's Artico letting it rip and just keeping the eyes. Sweepy on the other side has a couple bits of the south. They get Case Winnie back into it, but this is just a firing line that you don't want to deal with. A little sky nade action. Will it connect?
We're talking about Blessed here as well, as they're going to try to get out of this unscathed, but the pressure is going to be coming in from the opposite side of the fence line. And this team, of course, picking Jurassic very early. They wanted to be in this mix, and so far winning the battle.
They definitely are, but look at that. Potassium down and out. It's going to be Sancho's here from Bless that's going to be able to pick up 2 of those kills, but good moves for them. Now the reset has to occur here because everyone is still trying to make a rotation throughout this area. So at least you have Caustic. You've got the barrels. You could throw them down, and look at this. Heaven or Icon elsewhere getting some respawns.
Yeah, and I tell you what, really interesting there on that fight. We'll get back to what just happened with Potassium and Blessed for just a second, because as you said, it's Heretics, by the way, 13th yesterday. This is the team that came into the weekend at 5th, a pretty low placing for a squad like this, so didn't expect to see that. They're going to look to bounce back big today.
I'm going to need to see exactly that. And even if it seems like a relatively ease into it, right? You found yourself at the Cedo station. A lot of teams already starting to move in here. And with this being in the next circle, plenty of places for a lot of teams to play. So having at least crypto for now to give that information, keep the drone up in the sky. You can see Citadel Gaming back there. Yaku, Vushi, and Kizaran, they're going to opt to play just on the inside of those 2 pillars there. But we have to keep an eye on the remnants of what that north is going to look like. That elongated fight, it's going to leave Alliance still up in North Pad, but for Gaming Gladiators, we're still making our way just north of Cascades.
Yeah, absolutely. GG. What a day they had yesterday, coming all the way down in from Zeus, by the way. So it'll be a long road for them on the majority of the games, especially if the recent zones that we've seen the past few weeks are any indication. But when you've got Nitro Gates, you can make that path a little bit faster, especially as you're going downhill for the entirety, probably, of your Storm Point games today.
Yes.
Big day, though, yesterday. 2nd overall, by the way, plus 7,800 damage for Gaming Gladiators. So a day to certainly be proud of.
Hey, maybe we can replicate some of that, have a stellar day as you pull up the circle here. I mean, look, a lot of teams outside looking in. We were just looking at Gaming Gladiators and SJP2 right there in Cascades.
Yeah, and take a look here. By the way, it's Alliance, essentially the only team left on the north. They can now make the rotate that they wanted to as they start the contest, as they're going to be able to come down through checkpoint and easily make the route that they need to. The big question for them is, are they going to kind of come down here? If you take a look all the way through south checkpoint, that'll give them kind of the bean route, and they'll be able to move in. Likely going to try to avoid this Oasis route for the side of Alliance. That's going to be pretty clogged, and you're going to run into everyone holding rocks, everyone holding cannon. It's just not going to be easy for the teams there. So expecting Alliance to probably make a slow route, even try to hold this height, maybe bully Pixel Lumina, and anyone else who comes up from this side. Alliance probably trying to win that battle to get out of this mess, and we'll see exactly how they make their way in.
Yeah, and the best part about it is Alliance is incredibly confident when it comes to those fights. So you say Pixel, Lumina, they're like, look, we're ready to body whomever. Zipline, Mafia, though, as we jump onto their POV, things are looking a little dire here down on just on the outskirts, right? You've got Heavener that are rotating just on the inside of this. And if we're looking for a regain, we're going to need to find it. The Horde's still in Cenote as well.
Take a look here now at center map as everything tries to kind of settle in here. We didn't get to talk about as we take a look at those routes, of course, just this exact pull on Cedo, and so often pulls to those kind of southern Cedo compounds. Smufka's trying to destroy the drone in time, can't do so, and we'll see if damage is going to come in. Needs to try to play this slow, maybe even try to return with the drone, but absolutely cannot do so. He'll get taken down. It's up to Blast and Zane.
I love how we were just talking about Gamin Gladiators having a stellar performance yesterday and needing the same thing, but we're down to just Zane. Backs away, down onto the axle, and Denze takes an angle from the high ground. They put the nail in, and Gamin Gladiators, you're going to have to try in game number 2.
Wow, going to be a tough exit for them, especially like we said, with the day that they had. By the way, Zane and Luka were both top 6 in kills, so they will have, of course, a lot more games today to try to settle in, but need to maybe gain some momentum after what was a huge match day number 7. Need to regain for this game number 2, and as we saw on the edge of zone, they're going to be Heavener Icon still at Barrow, going to be making a slow walk in, and they'll have a lot of time to try to make that walk in, but there's still a few teams on the south side of zone. We'll actually check in at Jurassic, and it's a great call from our obs because this is going to be actually make Europe great again, going up against Aurora. Aurora currently holding the Jurassic side and holding Mega outside at Pylon, who wants to evac.
Yeah, and honestly, they're keeping their tabs on that evac. They're not letting it out of their sights, backing away. And this is where you say, hey, where do we want to hold the line? Because if they are going to get the evac off, which they likely will, can we hit this Hemlock? Can we use it? Maybe grab a knock onto it. And for now, Zedon on the other side, Nate as well. Okay. A lot of utility usage here coming through, but we just have to dodge out the nades. We're taking a lot of damage, but Conduit is keeping everything in line for Aurora.
Yeah, by the way, Aurora not running Conduit all week here, so this is a decision they've decided to make on game day specifically for this. And when you have a player like Effect on the Conduit, you can be sure he will be hitting the Qs that the team needs, and the Thermite hits right at the Q exit, and we'll see if they can live out through this. But right now, make your upgrade again with the height.
Well, Nate's got the Maggie Ball in check if they do need it. You can already see Oirain down, out, Effect down now. And this is a fight that Mega is looking to finish out.
Wow.
They do. Aurora down. We were talking about Mega and what that was going to look like post-change, bringing in Zedon. But can they withstand an EMP and another third party? It's going to be Blessed this time.
It's a mega win there, but specifically take a look at that Maggie game 1 pick. When you have a Maggie, you could just, that's what you could do when you're coming over from Pylon Fence. You could just absolutely send on a team, and even though they're on Conduit, you can win battles like that. By the way, Nate tied for 3rd most kills in EMEA right now, and I think that battle was a good example of why this team can perform with the best.
Dude, he's honestly really impressing me. Especially when you have like these young guns up and coming in the Apex Legends competitive scene. It's always nice to see. And especially we knew that chemistry was going to be there between Zedon and Kiner. So it's already looking cohesive, but can they maintain it? And as we kind of see where a lot of our teams are lining up, still needing to get into that Cedo Station area, it's SJP2. Last we saw them was in Cascades. Well, they're still there, and we got to go south.
Yeah, tough day again for them yesterday as they were coming in here 30th place in the league, and then a last place for them. They're going to look for just something to hold on to in terms of momentum, and right now they're also going to be dying to zone and going to need to slowly make this move. Of course, it's still early days, and they'll be able to hopefully have the meds to get out of this. But by the way, take a look at Alliance. I want to highlight that once again, just the fact that they did do kind of that move that we were expecting them to do coming through that southern choke, and then going to be able to actually just now hold the top of Bean height. And really, they're only how fitting that Horde, by the way, is going to actually be the continued battle in terms of that contest will be going on between those two teams. But unsurprising, Alliance actually checked Oasis up top. They decided that tunnel was going to be a little bit too busy, and instead they're now going to hold that Bean height. They're going to play for their walk-in.
Yeah, super smart, honestly. I think they're going to take that fight against the Horde clear for their back. Now, the Vicious and Heavener Icon that are down there below, just kind of south of that with Stay Healthy. One of those teams is likely going to rotate up into the Horde, which is going to sandwich them, and Alliance is just going to walk away with at least 3 to 4 more kills.
Yeah, you could kind of see that everyone kind of posturing up, and Alliance now going to be the team. Like we said, they're going to just play this height, watch all their backs, and kind of gatekeep. Let's get into a listen to see how they're going to play this.
I'm saving main people, these guys.
Yeah.
Okay. They're coming back. They're coming back. They're coming back. They're in the corner here.
Okay.
I mean, we just gotta play slow. We don't know.
Okay. Okay. So we just hold the height. They can't really do much.
When we fight the building, we just slide onto the water first and then fight. Okay?
Yeah.
They're fighting deep right now, by the way. Just let you know.
Yeah. Like, for the building fight, we just need to like hard spam the building, play the backside of it. The height is gonna help us, okay, guys? We just need to play outside right.
The evac backside, the evac backside.
Yeah.
Can we look for this now? Can we look for this now?
Yeah, we can.
Let them fly first.
Yeah, let them fly, let them fly.
Let me know.
Could
I'm
you
gonna
go
come
middle?
I'm gonna come to the front, okay?
Yeah.
The door. I'm just looking for the
I can't tell if they fly. I can't tell.
They could have went around.
No, let's
Okay.
Yeah, 40,
Yeah, they are.
walking up on us.
I'm gonna be
51.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
Two
tried
to the front door. Yeah,
Yeah,
keep this and fight for one.
Yeah.
That's on.
Come on.
Nice.
One cost you open.
Cost one. Crack on me.
Cost one. I kill Yaku.
What do you want?
You're fine, yeah.
Yeah. Can we go down?
Okay,
Go.
nice.
Go.
Yeah, okay. You fast.
This second save on.
Yeah, come here.
Yeah,
I'm
hold
also
it.
fat.
I'm batting. I'm
I'm
gonna
on
kill
that.
you.
I got it.
How are you? Here.
I'm on set.
Someone.
Huh?
I'm getting
Nice. Go outside. Oh, it's a nade. Shoot, nice.
I'm
You're gonna shot red? No, bro. Who is this fucking brain team coming so late? Oh my god.
I got
Holy fuck.
I missed my pad as well.
I got Kraber too.
And the breakdown is there. I said they would get 3 to 4 kills off that push. They get 3. They don't love the timing of what Heaven or Icon has to offer, but we'll talk more about that later because the chaos is still here. And the Horde withstanding the remnants of all the nades trying to stabilize. And Mega is healthy, but not until they have to finish through this area.
Yeah, this is going to be absolutely tough for them to get out of. I don't know if the Horde has, but they absolutely not. With their backs against the wall, Make Europe Great Again plays that choke very well. And to be honest, Heaven or Icon even bought a lot of time to force the Horde all the way over. So now it's still going to be Make Europe Great Again, by the way, up against HM still on this fence line.
Yeah, that was a definite choice. They had to evac to make sure they could look for that rotation, but it gets stifled by Mega. And now we have the next opponent, HM, just on the other side of this, the last standing fight that they need to have a clean rotate in. And HM actually gives up that space, right? So now we have to walk in. We have an evac in the back pocket and decide where do we want to play from, or do we full send this fight? Because we don't have Maggie Ball. Not sure if Kiner's got EMP up. I can see he's hitting an ult excel, so we'll keep tabs.
Yeah, I like that play. What you see there from HM is just a kind of it's an ultra split hold on the fence line, seeing if they could maybe get involved, but instead they just go ahead and they recall. They sit in the compound. Definitely we're hoping for a pull onto this actual building that you just saw them kind of on that southwestern. Instead, it's actually going to go a little more central, Cito, for our final zone. And by the way, we've seen a few of these recently these past few weeks. This is one of those zones that does not pull onto the compounds. This thing pulls onto the open water. It is going to be a devastating close here at Cito.
You know, Apex loves to give me these chaotic zones and end games, and I'm like, welcome back. This is exactly what I want. And now we've got a little altar dance throughout here, just trying to stay inside, withstand the thermites, and knowing that we have 8 squads remaining for the potential to move out into the water. It's all about minimizing that, right? Infinite is the only one, aside from maybe a player of Team Heretics, that has found themselves inside the next circle. Oh, baby, do it again.
By the way, Make Europe Great Again. They try to play the low ground, very commonly played low ground. You could tell that's where they were going to tuck in once HM had the top builds, and that's going to be Koos hitting with the Kraber from distance, and we'll see if they can stay alive and reset, but that's not going to be an easy route for Make Europe Great Again whatsoever on this close.
It looks tough for them. And Ben, back into the cover we go, just on the outskirts of HM and Mega. So keep that tab. We see a Deathbox respawn come through for them, but Citadel Gaming, we needed a big day. We need to withstand this. SJP2 down and out, and we're about half health for Remix now, just navigating throughout.
Yeah, they make it now into the top 8. They're going to be happy with that, but there is still work to be done. It's going to try to stay alive. Zuni just barely able to do so and just trying to get away from the ticking gas. And will pop a bat, will survive for now. They'll play the back of the pixel. And if you take a look, by the way, Infinite is really the team that is going to have the last building in. At Pylon proper, by the way, this is Heretics and Pixel Lumina that are holding, excuse me, at Cito kind of central building. They're holding kind of the height. This is, even though there's a height advantage right now, the walk-in off the height, as we know, is so tough. You will be focused at using an infinite ammo Kraber to destroy a gate. Why not?
Yep.
Just get that thing out of here. You're not having an easy, fast rotate to zone. So those are really the teams to watch here. The teams coming off the height, Pixel Lumina, excuse me, and Heretics, as well as Infinite holding the last Pixel building that will be in.
Well, we lost out on Mega, and now Ben getting into the fight. NOVO drops to the low ground. We have 2 down, and it's a 3v1 situation. They're just looking to put the finishing touches into it in a really stellar game for them. We're north of 5 kills, about to be in the top 5. Slab now makes the rotation. They're getting the care package, but you still have an infinite ammo Kraber on height.
Going to have a pad down as well. They'll be able to take that if and when they need that, of course. As we've seen in scrims, very important to comm to your team, by the way, that I've put a gate on the roof. As we can see, sometimes some disasters take place, but they will actually be able to move up to these pills in that low ground. That's going to be a really good spot for Ben. I mean, right now they have the best spot in the game. There will be a lot of action their way, but Ben being able to get to that single low ground station in zone is a big rotation for them.
Well, speaking of another rotation at Citadel Gaming, they've got everything in front of them. And Zuni dives in. It costs them Kaishi down, and it's Remix Power's last standing for Citadel Gaming. A couple of kills their way, but it's not going to be enough. And now Infinite is down to a single solo. What does that leave? Is it Pixel Lumina that's going to rotate around, maybe end them out? Because then you set your sights forward, and you are down to just a few teams left in the lobby. Ben, a team of 3. Pixel Lumina, a team of 3. And a duo and a solo.
And that's it, down to these last 4. It really should be Ben or Infinite that should, in theory, just on paper, take this game. But of course, the Pixel Lumina Heretics fight is going to be interesting to watch, because not only is this a 3v3 on the specific kind of central CO building, but both teams, both Infinite and Ben, undoubtedly are going to be focusing this.
Well, good thing for Infinite, they get a full respawn, and Team Heretics bringing in their team to 3. So everyone is back up into full numbers. So it's all about who's going to have that nice side of zone when the rotation comes through. You can see Kiss there already getting fired upon, but does stick the landing. Back to the Kraber we go. And it could be important. Maybe you hit a 720 no-scope Kraber off this when you drop down, because you're going to have to at some point.
And a gold Devo as well. He comes back, he gets all the goodies, he's full health, and they will be ready for this late game. And my goodness, how a Kraber shot onto Ben would change the outlook of this game in terms of their ability to fight through the chaos that's about to ensue here. There's 3 seconds left on the close.
All right, here we go. You would love a knock onto Ben if you can, because if not, this Pixel Lumina Infinite collapse is going to be incredibly challenging. I just hope that Ben is going to be able to have pressure towards the right and towards the left, so keep an eye on Slab.
Let's see, yeah, Pixel Lumina already dropping off, the first one to drop off. Heretics is going to drop off second. Here they come down here on the wrap. They're already losing Jans right off the rip, but they will get the wipe against Pixel Lumina down to our top 3 here. Infinite now pushing on Ben on the wrap on the opposite side as well.
Well, nice job for Slab, picks up a couple, and now Hikaru, he focuses towards the right. RE45 reloads, G7 Scout tries to go through, and they even try to climb back up to the top, and with Slab down, it's just to a duo for Ben, and you have Infinite and Team Heretics withstanding. If I'm Team Heretics, I'm staying a team of 3, I'm trying to stay healthy. Here comes the wrap, and I'm not sure if there's anything Ben can do, because they're sandwiched.
Oh, and it's a gated gold Devo wrap as well. Here he comes, he's absolutely just gonna spray and pray as he tries to find the opponents in the zone. No knocks just yet. Infinite will go down to our final 2, Heretics versus Ben.
And the L-Star, we're hit fire, we're trying to connect. It looks a little windy out here in the water. Slab's back up on his feet with very minimal health, but still put so much ammo onto Jans. But Team Heretics are inevitable right here and take game number 1.
Absolutely beautifully done. As you said, Heretics just playing that kind of northwestern side of that circular platform. In doing so, they made sure that the other 2, in terms of Infinite and Ben, taking one another out, at least getting enough kill trades. I would say the gold Devo maybe didn't have the highest hit rate in that very last bit of the end game, but still it didn't matter. They brought everything they needed to into the end game. And I tell you what, it's not easy as Heretics to play from that Cedo height, right? You can easily get focused, but instead they force Pixel Lumina down first. They even get the reset, by the way, as you talked about on the height.
Yeah.
And then they're able to kind of bring everything back in. So it's a really big win for Heretics, not only the game individually, but let's not forget, this was previously the 5th seed. They expect to be placing better than 13th, so it's a good momentum builder TIFF for them on the day as well.
Oh, let's pull up those results and see how it goes. 9 kills for Team Heretics there, playing from the high ground. Nice little note to Ben there to grab 12 kills alongside their 9 placement points for 21 total points, matching the winning score of Team Heretics. A couple of teams that got caught out on those choke points. We were talking about Alliance, right? They pick up the squad wipe, and next thing you know, they fall in 12th, only getting 1 placement point. So 5 points, not going to be what they want. I'm sure they're going to hit the regain and go again. Mega to walk away with 7 kills, 2 full team wipes, and another kill. I'm impressed from what I've seen, Rain Day. I'm impressed.
Yeah, I mean, they've been showing up. This is a team we're going to highlight a little bit in a second, but a great shout out to Heretics for taking game 1. And obviously, you know, that Axel there, I saw that graphic, guys. It almost made me think, were they playing Octane? What the heck? No, they just haven't gotten some of their pictures taken as well. That'd be exciting to see. But I love the way that they're going at it aggressively. We're seeing kind of I don't know, I guess 2 EMEA games, 2 Axel wins out the gate, but also the fact is we're seeing a very competitive kind of beginning to this lobby. A lot of teams showing up, especially teams like Tiff had mentioned, Mega coming in and being a threat, even though not getting the final win. Tons of kills heading into this game. And more importantly, maybe too, seeing kind of some different legend comps in the Conduit, a lot more Conduit than we expected. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, certainly. I think I like to see Aurora running Conduit because specifically they were actually running, they were testing a lot of different game ones this week. They were testing Axel Crypto Cats. They were then running Bang Axel Watson later. So I like the idea that Aurora's bringing Conduit in. Let's not forget, if we go all the way back to match day 1 and 2, these were the guys that were running Ramp Newcastle, kind of game 2-ish. I think Aurora, if you look at that team, they are not afraid to be ahead of the meta, to be making decisions about what they want to run, and they're continuing to do that today.
That's so true, Tiff. We've seen Aurora constantly, and it's just a team, it's an organization that's always just ahead of the curve. No matter who is on that roster, they're just trying different things.
I think that's just something to be said, right? And I was actually really interested in the fact that it was Effect picking up Conduit. We've seen him kind of play, you know, a lot of, obviously, given the current meta, but he really flexes on some of these legend compositions that I'm just like, this is really impressive. Having the history of being a known fragger, but being able to be there and time out the Conduit and get those plates back up for his teammates. Look, it was really stellar. And I also did note, I saw some chatter and people were like, have we had this many Conduits being tested before? Is this new? Like, what's happening now that we're, you know, we're trying some things here?
We are. And, you know, it goes like it's been under the radar. We've talked all this Axel, but Conduit got changes too. And obviously was a major part of this season. It's been iterated out the beginning too from a guy like Hockeys. And you could say Alliance and Aurora probably in the biggest contest of the season, not just for points, but also just for did they make the right choice, for status, for ego, Brav, because obviously, you know, trading, you know, fraggers like Effect now leading Aurora, those two teams going back and forth at the top of the leaderboard. Trialing out a Conduit and committing to it from Hockeys, that's a big statement of faith and confidence considering how much he's fighting for the split.
Yeah, and you have to wonder too just how much that pick, of course, is influenced by the contest, right? If you look at kind of up north, both those teams running it, and you have to think if we get, you know, if we look at later match days, of course, if we look at regional finals and then all the way to LAN, it feels like that's going to be pretty kind of POI dependent for now, but one of those things that we'll certainly keep monitoring.
Well, you look at the team breakdown right here. You see Aurora 16th place overall. They're 14th in the series right now after the placement because they got a couple of extra kills. Oiderbrain with 3 on the Axel. But I also think, Tiff, this is another way that yesterday we got to see EMEA kind of hesitantly dip their foot, maybe their toe into the Axel pool. Now you see this much more aggressively, especially after watching a day. And Conduit is that kind of pairing that how do we really make it work? Do we just throw the altar in there? Well, maybe Conduit is the answer for this aggressive Axel push because she's already got enough pressure as it is with her movement, but give her the extra shields. I mean, maybe that's the answer.
Yeah, I mean, we did see historically when Conduit was first introduced back into Apex Legends, people were utilizing it specifically for the contests alongside it was Horizon, right? For those really aggro contests. But there were only 3 Conduit picks in our lobby just for game number 1, so I can't tell. But Aurora did get into a fight within the first 30 seconds, and we did see Alliance expecting their contest back up at North Pad. So I think it's solely just because they have those early game fights. It could change unless actually they might run it on Stormpoint, but crypto's banned, so we're not getting crypto anymore.
It's interesting. You guys have brought up some great points. Obviously, you know, Mega doing well, although we didn't highlight them here. We're going to keep an eye on them as well. Stormpoint, how that's affecting things. It certainly made game 1 scintillated. Let's see if game 2 follows suit. Brav, Tiff, take it away.
Let's get into it. All right, Brav, I briefly mentioned it right there. We got a crypto ban. That's pretty normal for what we're seeing here.
Yeah, it really is. Expecting to see about 20 out of 20 on almost, you know, on most regions, certainly EMEA and Americas. And now that'll bring us, as you say, into a match 2. And big question here, if we think about the map rotation, will be so far in scrims this week. Axel has been your game 2 ban. It's kind of teetered and tottered, though. We've seen Axel picks as high as 17 on a game 2 and as low as 12. So the question is, which one will we get today?
I know we had 12 Axels in lobby 1. Alter had 11, so incredibly close. So I'd imagine we're looking at Alter Axel for this, but back to our POI draft, we talked about that Horde alliance up there in the northwest. But of course, you do have Aurora down on that southeastern side of things that were getting pretty aggressive early on as well. I'd imagine we are likely going to see a repeat of that.
Yeah, without a doubt. And as we take a look across, and Rain started to talk about it as well, Mega, they've been running that Ultra Maggie Crypto Game 1 for quite a while. And let's not forget, as they go now into Game 2, as soon as the crypto ban happens, they don't shift to Seer. They've actually been going straight to Baby Comp Game 2 and Game 3. So I will be looking to see if Make Europe Great Again takes the immediate route over to Gibby and Newcastle.
Yeah, now I'm really curious what our circle's going to look like as we go through Legend Select right now. I'm trying to keep my eyes on, let's see. Actually, I do not see Mega's picks, but we'll keep tabs on it as soon as it pops up on our screen, because I'm like, what does the change look like? Where does our circle go? And how do we adapt? I don't want to see us get caught out into the mid game as well, because the synergy on those isolated 3v3s was looking so good for Mega. I know that skill ceiling for them and then what we could see from them is really high, but you just don't have a lot of time to get there, right? We are like within the last 2 match days plus a regional finals, and the time is now.
Absolutely. And take a look. I'll tell you what, with Mega probably going to Baby Comp, it actually brings us a really good opportunity to talk about just how much Axel has shifted the overall ban order and comp order. It's a lot more than the sum of a single legend being added. You're seeing things like Ultra often being tripled in terms of the amount that she might be played. You're seeing teams, Make Europe Great Again as an example, going to Baby Comp right away. And in the Americas, we'll see that, of course, even more later as we take a look at Heretics. They're going to go a little bit more traditional. They're going to swap out for the Seer.
Ooh, so many Seers in APAC North as well. When I was kind of perusing some of their game highlights from last night or early AM, whatever time zone you're in. So locking that in early. Yep, Alonzi is going to elect to be the Seer. We're keeping the Axel in check. And now it's all about what does the pick look like for them. Alter actually bests out Axel by 1 pick.
Yeah, it's just tell you what, it feels like each game, especially when we get even into the Maggie heavy games, it feels like 1 or 2 picks either way across many regions is determining a completely different ban order, which gives you a completely different set of bans. But take a look at exactly where we're heading. Most teams, of course, will call this as launch proper and will be positioning for launch. So a lot, unsurprisingly, you're going to see Heaven or Icon try to get right over from Dev Coast. Aurora, of course, will be at home here, and they'll be able to decide if they want to hold height, if they want to hold red room. Be a lot of options to play, but teams are going to make quick moves here based off of the zone call.
Yeah, they really are. You see Citadel Gaming kind of moving in. Gaming Gladiators has Zeus. So we've got a really long trek alongside SJP2 from Lightning Rod. But if you have to make it, good thing, you know, north to south, it's a heck of a lot easier than going south to north. We've known that for Storm Point. So I'm more concerned with the Horde Alliance and Ben up there on that northwestern side still.
Yeah, by the way, you saw Citadel flying right in. We'll talk about them later, though, because as you say, once again, it's the 3 teams we expected to be up north. Colonel Node, by the way, has opted out of this already. They're already going Cascade. So right now, it's actually going to be the first time we've seen this in quite some time, especially if you've been watching scrims this week. The Horde actually straight into checkpoint, and Alliance will let them go. And now Ben has nothing to feed on from down beast. So actually a little bit of peace in the north.
Yeah, just don't give them anything, right? Especially when you know what is on the line. And like we said, we only have just a few days left. So let's keep it here, focus on the long haul, especially when we know we have to get into Launchpad. And with how many teams are likely already in Launchpad proper, it's going to be incredibly difficult. When you're fighting with that comp that they're running, it's not going to leave a lot of room for the makeshift cover, because there are a couple people that did pick up Gibby, right? So we got 1 person on Gibby, 2 caustics. So we'll have some resources, especially for the people that are grabbing Newcastle for rotates.
Yeah, certainly 5 Newcastles, as you allude to in the game as well. Let's take a look at HM. They'll be making their way. A Cascade drop, by the way. They're already going to be coming in. They've already kind of scrap looted Jurassic and now making their way through Lagoon in just a moment. And they'll have actually a pretty straightforward path because everyone's actually tucked into launch quite a bit already. So they'll be able to kind of hit these bins, scrap loot all of Lagoon, and decide how they want to maybe position in on the rocks that are just outside the northwest of launch pad. Probably going to be a good target for them.
Ooh, all right. Little high ground checks there with the triple take and just kind of poking, prodding here from the south side of things. Stay healthy just ahead of them to the north. And, you know, you could dive down towards the south and go around through the water towards Echo HQ. Not a really great rotation when you don't have tridents, but Colonel Node, we saw them not really be able to go up to the north to get into the mix, but the Horde finds them instead.
Going to just play this slow, as you say, and just wait to see what they might be able to find. Orgless and Hungry, though, really that team that's going to be the biggest threat to this is they're making their way all the way down from the wall, and they'll be joining this party as well, and maybe even trying to wrap caves here.
Ooh. Yeah, this is going to be difficult to maintain the different levels here, especially when you've got, you know, Kazakh 9 Impulse on the low ground. This is timing, right? Especially when you start getting into these waters, you can easily get picked out. The Horde's not going to want to let any of those angles be taken, and the timing in which they rotate throughout that was impeccable. I don't see any damage taken for them now.
A lot of teams still on the outside here, and unsurprisingly, I think there's teams that kind of realize they would be able to get into launch pretty early, and instead you have a lot of kind of satellite fights that are happening, and this is one of many, as they're going to try to bully off Colonel Node for just a second. So take a look here. It's actually going to be the Vicious and Ben that are fighting just outside of Mill.
Ooh, chaotic. Takes the brunt of damage, has to at least get in there on that Nexus. To high ground we go, but we don't stop here. We keep on moving. Not too much time left, and I like to see them get in and maybe set up a good fight where if Ben decides to rotate down on, you were talking about Alliance kind of dropping in on this western side of things as well. Chances for them to rotate this way, of course, could happen. So the Vicious could see maybe 1 or 2 potential fights, and needing some good coverage would be great for them.
Yeah, and right now the Vicious is going to be pretty clear. They're going to be able to go kind of north Barrow if they want. You can kind of see that right on your screen, and instead it's going to be Ben who's kind of just going on the bottom side of checkpoint straight through Citadel, but it's actually now going to be Stay Healthy. We'll jump on board with them here just outside.
Bro up the stairs and you hit him with a hip fire and then put the finishing touches into it. Okay, Pixel, Lumina, and Stay Healthy trying to do just that as we see another one fall. But some healing moments from Guts here as we see the door get absolutely shredded. Billy though down. And we've got to push on through, trying to get to the low ground. He's running. We can't get the full just yet. We're actually going to just chase this. Okay.
And by the way, this was Stay Healthy still at Barrow. They're the Barrow team. And all the way, Pixel Lumina coming all the way down from Mill and engaging there. So you could tell that Stay Healthy thought they had all the time in the world to be able to loot. And instead, Pixel Lumina makes a pretty fast rotate overall and goes straight into tower at Barrow, and Stay Healthy wins the battle from now. They actually force Pixel Lumina over to the north side, and they could find the Vicious pretty soon as well.
Well, for Heaven or Icon, they hit a double reset also, an Alliance. We talked about which way they would be rotating in. They're actually going to go straight through Spiders. They're chasing down Colonel Node. So having the Seer, making sure we hit the tactical straight out for information. Sure, the little Watson fence is going to deter you for just a moment. But with Conduit on your side, it keeps the health regaining.
And you kind of feel like this is just a delayed battle that was bound to happen. Even though these teams went their separate ways, it feels like it was always going to happen. The Colonel Node wouldn't be able to get away from this fight. By the way, Ben has also joined it, so it really is those 3 teams up north. They were going to find each other on this side, on these chokes, no matter what. Here comes the fight.
And there's still more teams in Cascades too. If you make a lot of noise here, you don't have a lot of time to be caught out here. For Ben, this is a perfect situation for them. They had a nice amount of kills in game number 1. They're feeling pretty confident on it, and Miscom does get back into cover, but we are challenging. Here comes Aku, the frontliner, making the push.
Yeah, they're going to go ahead and fly right out. Maybe try to get a build if they can. And I tell you what, they're going to be slowing down for just a second. Ben actually dips all the way out to Cedo. Colonel Node, the surviving members will go back to checkpoint in zone. So Alliance does win this battle for now.
They get the space. Everyone is absolutely scared because you know they're coming. They're like, hey, Alliance and North Pad, that contest did not happen. This is likely them coming on the rotation, so we'll see. Back in, we still have HM. They're down here getting Mixie into that like next circle. So having the low ground, diving throughout and watching all the angles, even through the inside, it's no-no.
Tell you what, we'll see exactly where this Nexus brings them right back to. You could tell they were thinking about it, and what a great spot they have, by the way. This is our first time really being able to check in on launch just because there has been so many battles happening elsewhere on the map, but what a great spot for them to have this kind of southeastern build that everyone wants to be able to look over those final zones for, and I love the play from them. They're just going to hit the Ultra TPs, maybe think about 3Ping, because keep in mind, the TP plus the Qs will let them even 3P Red Room stuff, and they can always just kind of hit the building back to reset. So really nicely done from HM. They'll be sitting pretty for late game.
Okay. Good pill up on the map. What we just checked in with was HM. They're going to be one of the furthest teams out on that eastern side. They were pushing onto Heaven or Icon, who had a double reset just a couple of minutes ago, and Potassium finds themselves dead center. But all of the teams that we've been talking about throughout the top of show and even that mid game is that mega, right? They're rotating into Pylon where the Horde have found themselves, and there is no way that those two are not going to be fighting.
Yeah, those two right on top of each other. They may not even have known that the Horde was there based on the way that Make You Great Again is taking that space, but they're able, as you could tell, to right away get height to get central pylon, and trying to force the Horde over that hill, that little hilltop that goes into Launchpad is going to be their goal, to kind of just continue to push that, ideally pick up KP, but control this entire side of the zone as well.
Ooh, okay. Zipline Mafia out here as well. Stay healthy, and the Vicious rotating in. So a nice 3-team fight here potentially at Echo HQ. Look, if I'm the Vicious, I'm rotating straight past this, and I'm gatekeeping whatever happens on this fight. So Excuse is going to need to amp up this fight so you can take the next one. For now, we're dabbling, and they just want to get out and ahead of this as quickly as possible. So looking through resources, what do we have to be able to help us in this? And it seems like everyone just doesn't want to fight right here.
Yeah, take a look at Heretics as well as we check in with them. Like we said, such a great game, but right now up against SJP2, and the Devo spraying yet again. There's something about Heretics and Yawns and just letting that thing rip. By the way, Koost will let the actual ult come out. See if there's any connection there. Looks like instead that will be destroyed, but it's still very good damage for them as they continue to push them down the hill.
Hey, I put a triple take or a Kraber in the hands because everything is working so well for them. Your map 1 winners on the screen already trying to make something happen. Okay. Angles are needed. They do seem to be incredibly conservative and only take fights once they are absolutely necessary, and I really respect that out of them.
Yeah, and right now they're going to need to make a lot of decisions because they have Colonel Node just to their south, but by the way, the SJP2 battle, as you see, Alliance actually going to want to get involved in that. Alliance coming up towards UAV build from the low ground, and they want to take advantage of this because right now Heretics and Colonel Node is completely isolated to the west.
Well, SJP2, they'll fall, and we can see where this is going now from Alliance. They're kind of caught in between all of these teams, and as we kind of step back with a nice free cam, it lays the line, but we still have more engagements all over the place. It's Pixel, Lumina, it's Ben, it's Akaro up here, grabbing the line of sight onto Trix, but where does he go? Into the altar portal we go. Last alive, we are just dabbling throughout, and we cannot find Trix even with the freaking live pings from your teammate. We are a mountain goat just trying to navigate the terrain.
Think about actually trying to stick, as Trix is going to try to wrap the rock as well, but guess what? There's going to be more teams getting involved as well.
Well, especially if you've got Axel, you've got the speed, you've got the slide, you've got the nitro gates, and you have Alliance at your back. Hikaru has been found. Ben has been eliminated, and now what are we going to do with Pixel, Lumina? We just want to find the remnants of them, catch Billy, fold, and we are spread out. Trix does make it out, so they are okay for now. A regain is possible, but the action's still going.
There we go. Now the Devo's hitting here. It's going to be big damage coming in from Heretics yet again right at the edge of zone, as they will be taking on Colonel Node, a battle that we've been keeping, as we said, an eye on these greens and whites that is really just north of the center of zone, as Heretics will continue to look for that final kill. But largely, they've already done the work. This should be the last one. Yes, indeed. Colonel Node comes down from the skies. That's going to be Beamsy taken down as the last player, but most importantly, that clears the greens and whites for Heretics, and they will be able to now make the south move pretty easily into Launchpad. Their biggest threat is going to be Alliance still alive on UAV build.
Oh, that's gonna hurt, but they still have to find their way in. Stay healthy. This is what they're looking like. We're waltzing right into the next circle. We lose out on one. Okay, that's to be expected. It's relatively open, and we knew how many teams were rotating in from the Echo HQ side of things. But with 17 squads all trying to find themselves in Launchpad and on the hills towards the outside, this is going to be one of the wildest end games if you can make it there.
Yeah, and what a pull, by the way. We should talk about exactly where this thing is going, because it has pulled for the better part as Hordeki gets taken down, and Kazak's going to try to stay alive as well. Maybe just slide away with a medi and try to take cover, but not going to be easy for them to do. Zipline, SS11, by the way, the new pickup on the team. This is going to be the Horde finally taken down, as you say, Pixel Lumina taken down in the lead as well.
I'm just like, we're collapsing all over the place. The people, the saves, they're crazy. And Zipline Mafia, like, we are just bobbing and weaving. I'm feeling very Matrix-like, but can we stay alive? Because we've been talking about Citadel Gaming. They've been pretty quiet throughout our first 2 games. I see them on the other side, and we're just trying to use our resources over here to keep them at bay.
I mean, and chaos for good reason, because look at this pull. Both of those battles were important to highlight, but look at the pull that we're seeing now, pulling way off of Launchpad. Anyone who has set up for launch now has to move back towards bridge. Let's get into a listen-in with Citadel Gaming.
I just regened in our room as well.
Did I? There's still a team there. Yeah. Condo team. It's probably Alliance. They may look for us. They're gonna be an Axel.
They got my armor. Come back.
Just hold them, yeah. Zuni, keep holding them.
Yeah, I'm trying. Maybe
They're probably Axel then. They're probably Axel. They're gonna queue on you, so you might want to.
Yeah, sir.
Can you see what come player?
Not really, no.
If you haven't got a safe cross back, you need to come back then.
I'll just TP if they do anything.
Yeah, but if they Axel queue on you, you can't TP back in time.
I can.
Okay. So it takes like 4 seconds to TP.
They're getting bullied right now. They're getting bullied.
This is on me.
Just stay towards me, okay? Remix.
Yeah. If you see an Axel queue, just come straight back, yeah?
Yeah. They're getting, like...
Okay, Brav, you hear that, right? If you see the Axel queue, let me know. If you see a Nitro Gate, we got a problem.
Exactly. I mean, all teams, especially as we get later into the game, keep in mind still 14 squads here, round 4, but as you get later into the game, there's going to be so much comms about which teams are on Axel, which teams are not, which gates can we take that we've already used, can we use other teams' gates? You're going to keep hearing a whole lot of that. But as we talked about, really even during that listen, very few teams have moved, but Alliance is one that has to move right away. Zone at their back, they will Nitro Gate over to the tree.
Hey, there it is. They said keep your eyes on this, and they're doing just that. How are you going to answer when they bring that to you? You've got the Newcastle wall up, you've got the Watson fences, and now with Crypto out of the mix, look, no one's going to be EMPing this, so Alliance is going to have to work to find a way to lay siege to this building, because if not, you're in the open to the teams coming out of Launchpad.
Citadel desperately trying to hold this. Keep in mind on the Watson, they will have that big advantage, being able to hold off any nades as Alliance still wants to try to find a way inside, kind of just playing low outside, but they know this fight is inevitable.
Conduit ult goes down, and all I can think of is hold the line, Hodor. You've got to make sure they cannot get through there. For now, both teams relatively healthy, but this is that launch pad we were talking about. Team Heretics, Orgless and Hungry, and even Heavener Icon sending 2 members up to get into it.
Yeah, this is all the teams that tried to leave launch red rooms as well as launch height. These are the last 3, now 2, as Orgless and Hungry will fall, that are here. It's Heavener Icon versus Heretics right on the edge of the launch pad.
Oh, and there we go. Out of the void and into the mix. Let's go. We've seen how much of an impact this man can be with a Kraber in his hands. A triple take hits just as hard sometimes, you know? They grab a knock onto one member of Heavener Icon, and into the open they go, but the high ground is still being held by their anchor up in the north, in which Heavener Icon has just returned to.
Yeah, they're going to go ahead. They had the split hold, and you could tell that it was always going to be, by the way, Alliance and Citadel still just happening on the edge of zone here, as really it's only probably going to be the actual close that forces these two into one another in about 23 seconds time. But nicely done. As you say, Heavener Icon is going to be playing up there. Not only do they have that hilltop, but they're actually playing from cannon. So their walk-in is pretty straightforward, but really it's all eyes on this battle here.
Yep, and this has to happen. They're both not surviving this. I just want to let you know this, because the next rotation that ensues is going to be gunned down for everyone that is in that circle. And you know who's in it? Mega. They're making it towards endgame, but we really need Citadel, based on their prior performances in their match days, to be able to get into that endgame as well. And there it goes. The ring. Alliance actually forego any fight and full send towards the circle.
Going to be an evac up as well, and Alliance going to be, like you said, they're looking at the entire bridge is looking at this slide down that's coming in for Citadel Gaming, and it's going to be Citadel is the first one to fall, and now Alliance tries to wrap from the low ground, but it's not going to be easy because pressure is going to be coming in from top bridge as well.
I said we weren't surviving this. 2 members down. Aku and Hack is down. Unlucky. Last alive. And that ring, the Thermites, they're eating him alive. He takes the evac as a solo and just says, I'm doing what I can. But is it enough? No. Alliance fall as well. Turn your attention to that free cam, because this is crazy. Team Heretics playing cannon is going to be so exceptional for them, because they get the craziest angles on the low ground.
And now you're seeing the teams that took the benefit of maybe this is a bridge, maybe this is actually a UAV, Dev Coast pull. That's exactly what it's been, and Aurora has that UAV build. It's really just Heretics and Aurora on this eastern side that are holding everything down, while the chaos ensues between Mega, Stay Healthy, Blessed, HM, and the Vicious, all underneath the bridge.
You say Aurora, and I'm like, this makes sense. They had a starting POI over here, Blessed to the high ground, diving through the fences. The nades are starting to come out. Having nades for endgame is so nice, and you're playing around your pylon. Max, though, Mastiff in hand, drops to the low ground, tries to navigate thanks to those jetpacks, and we lose out on one. And just like that, cut from the lobby.
Yeah, that'll be Blessed taken down. It's all about this bridge height really here as we take a look at Make Europe Great Again. Going to be so happy to have this height to themselves and let everyone, HM especially, as well as Infinite, fight and kind of fence off this low ground. Heretics pushing in on Aurora here.
Oh, this is going to be big. Aurora have 4 kills so far in this lobby, and they're looking to wrap and wipe out Team Heretics. Now, this is going to be great for them considering they only have 1 member left, but they dive out towards the other side. Mega, HM, and Infinite are going to be staring down at this if they can look for angles. But for now, if Aurora can stay healthy and isolate their side, which they have primarily done, we're solid. You just got to find Yans.
Yeah, they know the threat is only the Altar, who, by the way, of course, Deathbox respawn. You could kind of tell, by the way, with where Young was sitting, but they wrap it immediately. They waste no time. And even with the Q, they should be able to find this last kill.
By Team Heretics down to the final 4. They've cleared out their side. This is really great for Aurora. Now, Mega, HM, and Infinite are all going to be on top of each other, so keep an eye on the ones at the high ground, which is Mega for now. Undergoing a lot of damage from the lethals, but this is where having one of the only gibbies in the lobby is going to prove to be important, because you call in your ultimate, you let it shred.
Especially with ult excels, we've seen just how big right now, especially teams that are bringing ult excels with a gibby into the late game, especially where there are very few, have been absolutely huge in the late game.
I'm saying we're hitting a PK for 72 at that distance. You keep it going, and here come more arc stars for that end game. Mega, the change. Hey, we've seen them 2nd overall on match days. This would be the turn of the century that we need. Aurora looks to be full sending onto Infinite on the low ground, and it's still Mega on the height.
Yeah, Aurora made a decision to wipe Heretics, and in doing so, they ended up on the low ground, and Citadel hitting hard with the PK for height as well, just down to our last 2 squads.
My God, what are we doing here? It's Mega v Infinite, and we are just maintaining. Here goes more Sky Nades. Let it rip. I'm just waiting for the hit markers. Do they connect? The bub is down, and now the 3v3. We're just turtling up on each other. You got the Newcastle mobile shield on that. YQ, look at the wrap from YQ. He goes to the behind.
Might be able to do it here. Gonna look for the last one as well. And they're gonna be able to do it even without the Gibby. They knew they couldn't wait because they were against a Gibby. So they fly in, they send it. And like you said, Yichu with the beautiful wrap there to be able to come around onto the height and catch them off guard. It's a good big win for Infinite.
My guy, that is where you want to hear the comms. You want to hear the decision making, because you have just a finite amount of seconds to make that decision. Hey, I'm going up the stairs. I'm wrapping this. And he essentially waltzes into a full team that is staring at the opposing duo. A brilliant job for the end game play from them.
Yeah, really nicely done. And I think you pointed out so well, Tiff, the fact that you had them going up against a Gibby team, and I think they knew the timing, right? If they play that slow and they let Bubble, by the way, Bubble after bubble kind of hit with ult after ult after ult hitting, there's no way they win that game. So instead to just realize, hey, we're on, I believe it was a Castle Watson Valk, we have to fly in right away and just wipe this. They do that and they close out the game.
Ooh, 12 placement points, 7 kills for a 19-point game there for Infinite. Nice win, of course, making you great again. Look, not a bad performance. You're walking away with 14. I love seeing, you know, a 10 to 18-point game. If you're not getting a win, that is still magnificent. Aurora, who do have a POI that starts down in that area where the end game was, to walk away with 6 kills alongside of that, I'm impressed, right? Because usually you aren't going to find a lot of those kills towards the end, until the end.
I agree, and what a story, right? If you think about Omega, by the way, we should talk about, of course, also looking at kind of comps that we saw from Alliance running that standard shift to the Seer with the Conduit. But take a look at the series results so far. I think teams that we talked about at the beginning, Heretics and Make Europe Great Again, showing up in a big way. But right now, it is all about Infinite in first place. By the way, coming into the weekend with the 14th seed. So what a weekend it's been with them so far.
Ooh, and I just want to see that keep on moving throughout. This is staying incredibly close at the top in those top 3. Ben, who's been kind of going under the radar, but having some nice fights there with 21 points, stay healthy as well. Alliance, maybe not the strong start that they've been looking forward to, but when you think about the contest they had in map number 1 and 2 southern pool zones, it can be a little interesting for them. But of course, guys, we do have multi-view. You want more control over how you watch that ALGS? Well, we're excited to announce our new multi-view experience. You can follow multiple player POVs alongside the main broadcast while you get dedicated HUD overlays with match stats, key info. You won't miss the moments that matter. So make sure you guys are checking out algs.ea.com and log in using your EA account. Watch the fight your way. Plus, I mean, look at that. You guys can draw cute little Nessies. Get crazy with it. That's my favorite thing. I draw Nessies all the time. They don't look that good, But I tried, bruv.
I tried with the Telestrator. It didn't go well. I kind of had something I thought looked like a Nessie. A lot of other people didn't think it looked like a Nessie. We decided to scrap the Telestrator.
You're playing Pictionary at that point, right?
Yeah,
All
exactly,
right. We'll leave it to your guys' at home's imagination what Brav draws over here. But for now, guys, we're going to cut to a quick break. We got more ALGS action when we return.
Looking pretty grim and some.
Senta, fica, bom garoto.
For the PLQs. I'll be seeing you later. Name of the game, baby.
Well,
Name of the fucking game.
I'd say this game we could have just bullied the team at the rock, then went back as well.
Alliance 2 games and no zone pulls is tough. I mean, yeah, but like, here's my thing. Why are we like for Alliance? Yes, it's rough. Agreed. Understood. What's the clip I missed? What is this? A clip I missed for free thinkers. Oh my gosh, the last one.
I got one. I get hit by
Holy fucking quality, bro. The fuck is that? Oh, this was a fight they took? Who was this on? Oh my god, was it collateral? Holy shit. That's pretty sick.
I got one. I get hit by Ard.
Ew. Oh my fucking god.
Oh my god.
Nice. 5 minutes.
Oh my god. Meta Culture got put on a fucking human highlight reel. Jesus Christ. Dude, those guys got put on a fucking t-shirt. Game number 2 done. Game 3 in a little bit. Dude, that was an actual t-shirt. God damn, on a fucking back of a milk carton. I'll be seeing you later. That's going to be game 3. Now up, bro. Alter and Crypto gone. We'll see what gets banned game 3. I really don't know. I feel like maybe a Watson ban on some real shit. I can't tell 100% of the time, though. I can't really tell.
Into more of a conversation, but I think we're also seeing, you know, some highlights from some of these teams, and I think big moments from Make EU Great Again, which we said at the top of the show. Alliance has gotten a good spot. You really demonstrated what their route was going to be last game and nailed that to a T, and I think they're committing to the conduit, so that's fun to see. What are your thoughts now, kind of how game 2 and 1 have shaken up so far coming into this weekend?
Yeah, man. I mean, just really interesting things to watch and to pay attention for. I think you set it up perfectly. One of my favorite things is that we always knew that game 2 was going to come down to 1 or 2 bans, and Tiff hit the nail on the head. Alter was banned over Axel by a single pick, right? So that kind of tells you just how close things are and how much the lobby will change. And by the way, beyond that, you're going to actually see the Axel rate probably drop here. So instead of Axel being banned,
as an opportunity. People still playing it, but a little bit more distinction. And that's the thing that happens in EMEA. And I think, Brav, to go around this topic is silly because Alliance have been the team in EMEA. We know that the win came from, you know, Go Next and Hyreka, Shotgo, and Zidane. But Alliance have been the trendsetter. Splitting that off, you see Aurora in that spot now, fighting for Alliance to get dominance back. But what they've done, the way they've committed to their play styles, Hawkeyes has never been afraid to go and say, we're using Rampart right now. We're using Ashe. She was one of the first players in EMEA to adopt Ashe before she got her double jumps on her space bar. So he was very, very confident in trying these new things out. And again, with the Valkyrie, the Maggie, and the Conduit in the position that they're in, just willing to play aggressive and willing to commit to, like, we think we know what's going on.
Yeah, and speaking of, we might see them here. One thing I want to talk about is the DB pull is going to be very specific, not only to the game, but it's going to be very specific to that contest because the Horde has a decision to make, and Alliance knows it. Whenever you see a pull like this with these two teams contesting, they have to make a pretty concerted decision because not only is there a chance, as always, for a 3P from Ben and Colonel Node, but it's different this time. Instead, you're going to have Orgless and Hungry flying in, maybe Citadel flying in, and they need to think about how much do they want to entertain this contest or just kind of maybe tuck in. And as you could tell right now, they haven't committed to it, and instead it's everyone just flooding into DB. You're going to see the back DB builds go fast, especially keep in mind Alter is banned, so that changes just drastically the way the down beast end zone is going to be played.
Another team to shout out the Horde, sitting in second place, 31 points. Obviously, Kazakh 9 Impulse and Hardeki, the Grim Reaper, showing up big time here to start off game 1 and 2. Can they do it again? Orgless and Hungry, winners of game 1, already engaged here on the northern side of the map. Frick's trying to increase the friction, as we saw yesterday, and they're setting up Brav to potentially start something here.
Yeah, it's going to be the Harvester that brings them down, but it's going to be Alliance waiting actually on the nuts. As you can tell, that there's going to be a little bit of a battle here, and Orgless and Hungry is your wall team, so they wanted to get down right away, and they even want to try to push Alliance off of kind of both the nuts, push them more towards Armory, and they're actually doing that, as you could tell on the map. So that's going to be really good news for Orgless and Hungry. They're going to want to kind of just apply that pressure to make sure they don't get caught way out here. By the way, I haven't counted it out. The Horde is still in trenches, so we could still see a little bit of a fight here as we take a look at the initial status of DB.
Yeah, this is great. Horde's coming in as well from the top of this. Citadel Gaming in the middle of that kind of building area in between down beasts, and obviously being able to be a team on top of the conversation. They've got to be able to handle this pressure right now because everyone knows where this is going. Valkyrie all the way up into the skies for the Skyward Dive from Alliance, trying to find a building to land. They're early enough, they should be able to find a spot, and they're going to take this top zone. It'll give them information where they need to go next, get that ring scan and that beacon as well to be able to make sure that they know where the enemies are, try to navigate that path as successfully as Hawkeyes is known to do.
Yeah, and even though we don't see the two fight, it's really important to note that Alliance just takes over North Pad. They get the free UAV, they get the full build. They actually push the Horde all the way into checkpoint. So for all intents and purposes, but by the way, Citadel Gaming is awaiting them here as well as Orgless and Hungry. So really for all intents and purposes, that's Alliance that's going to be winning that contest still and kind of bullying them off based on recent results. And they will actually be evacing now straight into DB to try to make their way in, probably from bunkers or maybe gazebos initially.
Zuni said he needed a big day today, and obviously the disappointment from yesterday weighs heavy on him going into a moment like this. 9 points though after 2, that's not bad. Graceful has the number 5 after every game. That's kind of where you want to land. They're pretty close to that, just about a point underneath, but they're looking for that big game and they know they need it. It's not just a matter of doing well today, it's doing so well that they put themselves in a position to watch next weekend and still survive. Big hill to climb for Citadel Gaming, but they're in a good spot right now in this zone. We'll keep an eye on them as we travel over to the Vicious, who's sitting right outside of Barometer. They've got Make EU Great Again. Kind of approaching them, though, Brav. Nobody making a move just yet, but they will have to somehow go around each other. And you can see maybe just trying to avoid that fight completely, because Zidane actually has gone down in this. Maybe early engagement we might have missed off camera, and Make EU Great Again a little vulnerable.
Wow, yeah, they actually go right out because they get evac'd on. The Vicious actually sets an evac and goes right back into Barrow, takes Barrow, so they will be hitting that Barrow UAV at minimum, and they'll be kind of pushing Make Europe Great Again into Jurassic. Now, important to note, they should be able to get this reset here in Jurassic. There's not really anyone nearby aside from Zipline way north at Greens and Whites, but that's another example of Make Europe Great Again looting for quite a long path at Barrow, and another team getting involved even though the zone is not pulling south. Pretty interesting to watch that happen another game in a row.
they're so late as well to this rotate that it take your time right now, and especially being in a position where most teams have jumped the gun. I think they're in a good spot. Maybe get a reset, kind of take this angle in the south, and just be fine to approach with whatever fight shows up. Stay healthy will be a team that they'll be around. On the other side of things, teams sitting safely in zone. Spin right on top of Down Beast, and so far so good. Got to get Miscom off of White, and really just get him up into this game. But right now they'll have plenty of time. Hemlocks in hands, alternators, good weapons to just farm up that Evo. Not trying to make too much of a fight right now.
Yeah, quite a lot of things to note here. One is, as you said, you got Miss Chem, my man Maxime on the Mirage. There's something about Eastern Europe and Mirages. They love to be on a little bit of a trolly Mirage, but also to note, like I said, just DB height, as we take a look at Pixel Lumina here, just trying to hold builds, they're going to go ahead and just TP back. But holding DB height is so different in a game where you already have Ultra out of the picture. They can really, like you said, just be comfortable up here, know that at any point, they're not just going to have a team flying in from cover that's double queuing up on them, things like that. They'll be able to hold that and get pretty comfortable.
Yeah, that's a great point. I mean, Ultra makes things so unpredictable. Same with Axel. We kind of heard in the comms with Citadel where they were talking about, hey, listen, I know you think you're safe, but you're not safe. Once you see that Nitro gate, it's too late. You don't have time to get back out of here. And, you know, people playing like that is something that's affecting these players. We're not hearing it all the time, but they are playing around it as Denze trying to play around this wall, find some shots with the revved up Rampage. Don't see that often. And there's that disengage we were talking about, Brob. One of the benefits of Axel, it's not just getting in, it's getting out. Immediately smells something funky, says, I do not want any part of that.
How about that? Closes the door on the drone. Says absolutely not interested in that. That is one of the best ways to just slam a door on a drone. And that thing is, there might be certain ways to get through doors in Apex Legends. That is not one of them. That thing's just going to self-destruct. And Heaven or Icon and SJP2 haven't wiped each other yet, but fantastic use of the door in that specific situation.
And I like that too, because it's an ultimate that, whoa, as they get going here, not going to worry about losing. It comes up very quickly, also gets value, but if it doesn't, you've got so many other tools to play around. Volgraph, with the focus of attention, he will find at least one. Knows they rotated to the other side because of the exhibit as well. Another focus of attention, hits all three. That's a silence. They peek up, take more damage than they give. This is huge from Volgraph. He almost does two in a row, but he gets one, and that should be enough for Denze, or will it? Sneaky, gets taken down, and that is a turnaround. Heavener, oh my goodness, taken out, and it's going to be Aurora who cleans up the entire mess that these two teams just made.
Is that ever fodder for Aurora? And it was just a pretty isolated battle between Heaven or Icon and SJP2, and Aurora says, actually, we'll take both. They clean up all of the KP there, and we'll be very happy to have not only that, but their backs completely clear as they will make their way down from wall, presumably try to kind of mirror the route that HM will be taking off of North Pad, mainly because if you look at the side of Aurora, can easily just kind of, I was going to say hit the UAV, but not actually going to have a UAV option in their comp. So we'll see exactly. They'll have a lot of options in terms of how they want to have their walk-in take place. As we take a look here a little bit further southwest, it's going to be Orgless and Hungry on one side. Pixel Lumina now also trying to get back into the kind of this south side of DB. They'll go right back into their build. And a little bit going on at Mill as well.
Mega back in another fight. This time it's with Fricks and squad, so they're going to be very confident going in again. They've survived one, trying to survive again, but then on blues, Zidane takes too much damage. Can't really engage. It's going to be up to Nate to try to buy some time. Sees Fricks up top, 103.39 added on to the damage, but not gonna be enough for the kill, Brob, and it's gonna allow them to reset a little bit here. Both these teams poking at each other, but no one's got the down yet.
Yeah, they know that only one of these teams is going to live on this side. There's nobody else anywhere near Southwest. It's entirely clear on this side of zone, so this is such an important 3v3 here as they re-engage.
Very good Orgless and Hungry team, though. This is a team built for fighting, available to do so. You can see Fricks is somebody that was just talked about with Graceful yesterday, just the accolades that he was given, the ability to go ahead and combine with Taxington and really create a pair that's dangerous. For Zidane and Kiner to be held up this long, you gotta recognize game. And I think that they obviously know this is a team fight that they do not want to rush. Zidane on blue still, again, lacking the shielding as well. These two teams have been engaging, dropping, engaging. This time just sitting and saying, all right, we'll let you come to us. You got the Watson fences set up. Yep. We're just going to try to look for the opening poke. Let's listen in and see how they handle this.
No, peut-être avec le mec Devin. Il pique maintenant, top. Il pique maintenant, top.
Oh, yeah, okay, I see.
Recule. You can maybe force one of the rooms.
Y'en a qui sont à gauche.
Crossfire, depending on zone, we can either go right or like to.
Y'a la Watson qui drop à droite. Y'a Maggie à pied. La Watson elle veut jouer pour l'arrière. Je peux jouer mon up.
Just remember, if that low ground building is on it, the team will probably
T'as la peine, fais gaffe. La Watson arrière.
Est-ce que droite?
I think so.
Okay, this team northeast in the outside beast here. They're double purple.
Okay, we're in.
Putting on us.
Man, oh man, Brav, they try to take it. And I told you, Game's got to recognize Game. They realized they did not want to take that fight. And eventually, Taxington, Frickson squad took the fight to them and got the win.
It's really a tale as old as time. That was offense versus defense. That's what we call a Maggie comp versus a not Maggie comp. And you had the feeling that when you got everyone turtled up and a Maggie can start knocking on doors in all sorts of different ways, to be honest, quite a multitude of options to take down doorways. And the Maggie team, Orgless and Hungry, as you say, they will win the Battle of Mill. They will clear that side, and they'll still have a lot of work to do, but they will be safe for now.
You talk about a team, too, that needs it. Orgless and Hungry, one of our bubble teams that just have to have that consistency. They won game 1 yesterday, started off strong. They need to do a consistent series of performances here in this match day, because this is going to be the last time that they have a chance to go at it. And obviously, this is a team that, you know, is on the fence, and not just on the fence of, you know, making and qualifying for the ranked regional land position, but qualifying just to get into the regional finals coming up. Aurora in and out, Hyreka back and forth, doing a little salsa step, and I love the way that he's approached that too. Opens up a lot of space in effect, just trying to find out when is my moment. You know, when this man peeks out with an R9, somebody's going down. Right now, who's going to be the unlucky one? It's Aku. I told you, when he peeks, it's over. You don't have a lot of time to live. Effect still on a full purple. This is Alliance. Hockey's going down. Former teammates maybe just skating away for a moment, but Effect, he's already done so much damage. It should be the end of this team.
Taking a look now, and there's even, I think, teams starting to get involved as well, as you said. Okay.
Yeah,
we'll let the death box shooting speak for itself from Effect.
You know, I have a feeling Effect is doing that for the Effect, right? I don't know if he has harsh feelings towards Hockeys, but certainly we'll leave that up to debate with the clip, and I love that that's going to spark a little bit of conversation here as well.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that's some good stuff right there. And, you know, again, it's just because you cannot deny the quality of player Effect is. And, you know, Hockeys and him talked about the fact that Effect would do things on his own. But when you are that good, when you know you pop out, you just win fights, you just do this again and again, and you've won a LAN, maybe you weren't being able to feel that way about yourself. And obviously Effect continuing to dominate here on Aurora, even switching teams. Hockey's with the conduit wasn't enough to save him in that fight with Alliance.
Yeah, I tell you what, just when you thought maybe the Alliance Aurora rivalry was kind of cooling off, maybe calming down for the late split, no, it's not the case. We are spicy once again between those two teams, so it's good to see. And speaking of spicy, it's actually Zipline, Mafia, and the Vicious on the Western checkpoint choke, where right now Zipline Mafia is absolutely mopping up and should be able to get the clean wipe here as they get the last one. Should be able to. Yes, the Vicious will be eliminated. That will be more on the board for Zipline Mafia. As we said, a pretty good day for them yesterday. Not really a huge day, but a day where you had, as we talked about, Excuse with second kind of kills on the leaderboard. They will have to move in, as you see, from the eastern side with a big western walk-in. And take a look at the poll here. Anyone who was thinking it was kind of going north side DB rain has really had to move to the builds here. Pixel, Lumina, we saw them earlier holding the buildings all game. They're going to be very happy. Blessed also will be under siege. Potassium is actually holding the tanks, which right now, take a look how clear their back is. They can play. There's a little bit of low ground there where Potassium is. They should be able to, unless HM causes trouble, hold quite a good spot as well.
Yeah, and I think Blessed playing the perfect lineup. I mean, you look at the Axel and maybe an Ultra, obviously Bambi. You look at an Axel, Maggie, a C or something like that. It would be very difficult to stop people from getting into that building. It's where everybody wants to play. Blessed running, you know, Watson, they're running the Newcastle and running the Valkyrie. They have so many deterrents to people trying to get through a door or being able to poke out for anyone who starts taking space near them. I think they'll be able to hoard that. But again, the Horde is right near them. We'll see. They seem pretty greedy themselves. Aurora also on this side. They definitely want a space to play in this, and they're going to go through anybody who's in their way.
Yeah, Aurora going to leave Tail, which right now, of course, is not going to be in for too long. They're going to move from Tail to try to play low, and honestly, based on the map, there's a few teams here, however, if they destroy some fences, they should actually be able to get a little bit of real estate, and not too far away. It's actually Heretics playing the outside of these builds. They were initially split holding. Not sure if they know it, but there's actually no one playing, and they will know it here. They're going to decide to leave the builds and start to kind of position up along the fences. Kraber, unlimited ammo, by the way, Kraber in hand for Koost, as they're going to start their walk up here just to move north.
Blessed coming into this weekend just outside of land qualification 9th. Max Dreyfus, what a great story from this team. Currently holding the building. Everybody wants to play around. And you can see that is going to continue to be a little piece of drama we hold on to and see how they continue to hold it. Heretics, though, on the other side, this is where the action is. Aurora, GG, Gaming Gladiators, who were phenomenal yesterday. Heretics as well. Goose looks like he's going to go down. It's just up to Alonzi. Oh, boy, he's got a long route to run, and there's a lot of teams in front of him. It's going to be the end of Heretics. But as that zone closes, there's still a chance for Citadel Gaming to hold off here. They've all got blues, but there's just one team in front of them. If they can hold this angle, they might be able to get on purples, not only get some great shield swaps. And it's Zuni who tries to make the play, but goes down, Brob, immediately.
Wow, HM goes out, by the way, in the feed, as well as GG, as we take a look at this last try to hold from Kai.
Maybe?
Doing what he can. They do get Zuni back up. He's going to pop an immediate bat and Gen down, so maybe not the end of the road as teams are falling around them. Kai will fall. Newcastle Res coming in from Remix. They should be able to reset once again.
They did get Colonel.
Wow.
That team did go down. And so the benefit is if they can get over those death boxes and just somehow swap shields, they may just not have time to do it right there. Oh, it's Fushi. Actually, Fushi's still alive. Look at this. They've still got one. They're hiding underneath. It should be the end of this squad, but look at that battle over on top underneath the bridge. Who is going to be fighting? There's teams poking at both. Citadel Gaming, they get the kills, they get the shields, and now Remix Power, Zuni, and Kaisha in a much better spot than they were before. Have this little angle on bridge, Newcastle wall, Watson Jin available to kind of stabilize. That might have been what they needed. There's a defensive bombardment. It is not going to do anything with that Watson pylon there, though, and so you know, Agenthi is just going to hold off and say, we see you, we know you're there, but can't really do much about it.
You could tell that Stay Healthy wants to clear them. Citadel actually has a pretty good walk-in. If either of them deal with each other, they both have a good walk-in. Stay Healthy is actually currently in. By the way, take a look at this. These three teams are the same. You still have Potassium playing tanks. That was always going to be a really good spot, even though it looks exposed on the map. But let's check back in with Citadel here once again as Ben goes down.
They jump on them, bro. This is the most contested spot. Citadel Gaming, I can't tell if this is a gift or a curse. They have gotten 2 fights that they didn't really want, but the benefit is that they're getting the KP and staying alive. That's what a team like this needs in order to move forward the way that Zuni wants after a disappointing yesterday, setting records in the ALGS. Can they survive? Zuni and Kaisha, the last one standing. Zuni himself takes the Wraith Portal, is going to do it again, just try to buy some time, and it's Citadel who go down. Just too much pressure and too much power. Aurora, the final team to collapse onto them, and they just could not withstand the pressure.
Yeah, they'll be happy with the top 8, but to be honest, as we talked about earlier, it might not be enough for them. It's Aurora and the Horde, by the way, on your screen right now. This is a big one. Fences go down for effect. It's only here a 2v3, not going to be easy. They will get wiped immediately as the Horde will take them down with confidence. Try to get a few swaps as best they can. By the way, a booster coming in here for the Gibby for Hardeki. That could be a big factor in the late game as well. Here's Stay Healthy now taking height.
Stay Healthy's been a problem. Just on this side, they've pressured Citadel Gaming. They've hurt Aurora as well. Now they want to get the Horde. They have been able to take everybody off of that left-hand side. If they get this win, I think it's a very good defensive game. Very good just awareness game from Stay Healthy. However, Pixel Lumina on that left, really they were on the south side. They've shifted over southeast and are pressuring out that building that I talked about that Blessed have still been able to hold. So the composition has stood strong. This is the moment where it needs to count, though. Pixel Lumina turning their attention over to the Horde, who have found their 3 men up. Will they be able to keep them out, though? It's a tough team to stop, especially with the Gibby Dome. They do have the Maggie, though, but that electrified dome means you're just not going to push into it by yourself.
Like you said, Bless is still center zone, and they actually should have the walk-in from the northwestern tip of that 3-part building. This should be really a top 2 for Bless guaranteed, and if the chips fall the way that they should, it really even should be a game win based on Godspot. Potassium still holding to the southwest, and Stay Healthy has to be walking in here still from that northwestern side, and it's good damage coming out of the longbow.
They've gone to 5th place, Rob, but they are only about 8 points away, I would say, from 2nd place. They're just shy of 9 points hitting first. I mean, this is a team that has done things right this game. They haven't had perfect spots, but they have held their position and they've been able to turn their attention to the teams that have been most vulnerable and Stay Healthy. Well, they've done just the namesake. They've stayed healthy. On the other side, Electrified Dome is going to go down. Do they push this? Somebody's got to make a move somewhere. Maybe team on top is actually making it so Stay Healthy doesn't feel the confidence to push. Pixel Lumina are the ones applying the pressure to the Horde, so Stay Healthy's going to let that happen and just probably move in. Pixel Lumina now have to make the decision. Do we try to stop Blessed from moving out of this building once this is all done? Or do we deal with Case Swinny and squad who are pushing in? Potassium now behind the wall. They've lost their moment. And Pixel Lumina may be okay with this because it's forcing a fight between Stay Healthy and Pixel Lumina.
And the Horde's going to join in on this as well. So whichever way this goes, it's not going to go well for two of the three teams. You can be absolutely guaranteed Potassium will fall and the Horde will fall. And Stay Healthy stays alive. We're now into our top three.
Big Lumina with the shield swaps as well. They let Potassium take the down. Blessed inside the building and Stay Healthy still on the outskirts. They've managed to be in this conversation, but never the source of the spotlight of attention. And now you can see Max Strafey finally with Blessed move outside. This is the one moment they might be vulnerable. Can they turn a great position game into a win? They certainly need it. They're on the bubble in EMEA. And now Wraith Portals aplenty to try to buy time. Pixel Lumina will go down and Stay Healthy will turn a fantastic game into a phenomenal one and get the win and push themselves into first place.
I tell you what, when you take a look at the last few teams remaining, is it a surprise that the Gibby team is able to kind of walk in right at the end? And you're going, let's not forget, even though Blessed had that God spot kind of walk in, they only had a Newcastle. And you saw that even though there was one last of the three Gibby ults remaining for Stay Healthy, they're able to throw that down. It kind of just forces absolute chaos. And tell you what, a lot of people, would not have picked Stay Healthy as the team for that walk-in from the north. It was not an easy one, but they had to win several big fights to clear their back and win that game. It's a very big game from Stay Healthy.
I mean, it's the win, obviously, but the 12-point win. When you look at what Blessed would have done, had they won that, they have 12 placement points. They've got 1 kill. This is Stay Healthy with the 12 placement points. They've got 12 kills. I mean, this was a team that was looking everywhere they needed to look. From an IGL perspective, this is what you call a masterclass, because not only do they stay alive, they do not take any risks. They never get out of their Watson Newcastle barrier, Rob, and they somehow find kills because they're looking the right way. They're doing it the right way in terms of timing. This was a masterclass of a game. It was a phenomenal performance from Stay Healthy. I told you they were in 5th, about 9 points off of 1st. Well, now they actually jumped and they are about 8 points ahead of the next highest team, who is 2nd with 34. 42 points from Stay Healthy. After
25 KP on the board. Don't get me wrong, Aurora is just behind him at 23, but as you can see, the rest of the lobby is not. What a game from Stay Healthy. And I got to point out, this is your 17th seed coming into the weekend. Huge. This is an absolutely huge day for them. So to be putting up a game like that is absolutely massive.
And the fact that they have games in hand, they have a weekend in hand next weekend, that is what's scary about it. That's why teams like Blessed, that's why teams like Orgless and Hungry have to perform, because you got Stay Healthy. If they win today, they're behind you, they jump up, then they still get to play next weekend and you don't. So that is almost assuredly going to take a spot from one of those teams. If you can't stop Stay Healthy, well, it doesn't look like your hopes of going to LAN are going to stay very healthy as well, bro.
That's without a doubt. I think amazing performance from them. It's a team that a lot of people might have actually, to be honest, written off with how close Europe is. So I loved what we just saw, especially from AJ, as I said, on the Gibby. He had a very specific role in that end game, so it's great to see. We got a lot more ALGS still to come here in EMEA. We'll be right back after a quick break.
Red Bull is giving wings to the ALGS and the Apex community.
Red Bull gives you
catch with 5.5k damage. We'll lock on in here, man, and that is going to be game number 4, 5, and 6 over on E-District. Don't forget, there is no Olympus this weekend. There's none of that good shit. It's only just ED and Storm Point, and some of y'all might be happy about it. Some of y'all might be upset. It is also, bro, a Valk ban game 3, man. So Valk is gone, Alter's gone, and Crypto gone, brother. So there's the 3 bans gone, man, going into this game 4. We still have Axel available. We still have Mad Maggie available. We'll see what teams do on E-District. Mad Maggie on ED is gross. So I would say a lot of these guys should 100% increase their pick rate of Mad Maggie and make this work. That's what I would do. I'm going into ED, bro, for fucking 3 games. I'm running Mad Maggie until the fucking cows come home. I'm running that shit till it's banned 100%. Because now, especially on ED, teams are going to run Wraith, teams are going to run Gibraltar, and going to run Newcastle. In my personal opinion, I'm 100% locked the fuck on in, without a doubt, on the Mad Maggie for those counters. We'll see what goes on. And game number happening here, bro. Let's do this shit. Game forward a little bit. Unreal. Did I miss any crazy moments? I would say, yeah, for sure is one of them. I think the craziest moment is definitely fucking right now that boy Panda's dropping an
Senta, fica. Bom, garoto. Tudo que os cães fazem, nós gatos
mix. Of course, K-Swinny, long time standing here in the ALGS, ton of different rosters as of late, maybe the past couple of years or two, just trying to find that footing again, right? So would love to see that for them as he does get fooled here. So we will likely see a reset coming in from K-Swinny as he seems to have made his way just a smidge further north now that Zipline Mafia has left out on their rotation. But Citadel Gaming, not the best showing here today thus far. Let's hope their E-District is strong.
Yeah, going to need big ED games. We talked about even before the day that they needed just a huge day. As we said, not enough points on the board to make this one huge, but I think one thing that you and I have seen so much, Tiff, is across multiple regions. Take a look at this fight first, actually, before I get into that. We'll take a look at what Heaven or Icon is up to.
Yeah, I mean, look, put me in, coach. Anytime I get excited about a battle, I'm like, where is this happening? How is this important? Will we get a third party? And that could very well happen here for Heaven or Icon. Now that we did have Valk Ban come through in map number 3, you're not going to have her for the high to low ground disparity, but we do see a lot of the same legend comps. You got the Newcastle Watson, the Wraith on Suki here to give that information, to give the mobility. You drop the mobile shield, it's a mobile, you take out the shotties, and you close them out. HM, your first team eliminated here, and the way this setup occurred with a ton of utilization from nades, it was just a really nice fight from Heavener.
Yeah, by the way, Heaven or Icon is your draft team, so they have made quite a trip up north to be able to get involved in that battle with HM. Also, Mega is now going to be up there. Like we said, Mega's your E-Bank team, so not surprising that they had the proximity. Heaven or Icon almost certainly hitting an E-Bank to get up into this area of the map this early.
Yep, it was completely clean. It allowed them to take that fight easily, but Mega just moves in so quickly. I love that Zidon's about to drop that portal there, and we're going to keep on chasing, but there's still so much action elsewhere with the Horde. You're finding the reset that we saw from Potassium and immediately diving onto it.
The Flying Hemlock Breach coming out as they're going to try to wrap this, and they will be able to do it as well. That will be Potassium finally eliminated, and the Horde will have the entirety of this side of the map. They are going to be your Heights team. So now they've cleared the entire western side. They'll get ready for their walk-in.
The walk-in? We are on a massive trek. We are going straight towards the west where the majority of our teams have already found themselves. So we'll see you in 10 to 15 business days.
Exactly. Truly, if everything's operating on time. I think a good point indeed.
Who knows what kind of delays we'll have.
Yeah, it's been tough out there. Take a look here now at Heretics. Still actually beefing a little bit with Aurora as we go all the way up north to Resort.
I don't like the word beefing, but it makes sense. I mean, they did have a really nice start to our day with a map 1 win. We're situated here, and I'm loving the fact that we still have Axel in play. You got the Catalyst and a Seer. Now, when we get to look at all of our VOD reviews later today from all of our teams, the legend comp selections are crazy throughout EMEA, and that is just such a fun after effect from the recent changes. Not so fun is Heaven or Icon. Down to a solo Watson. Not even your movement legend.
Yeah, Brutal's going to look for a reset here as we take a look at exactly what they might be able to do. But as you said, a lot of time left for them to kind of just make their way. And we'll also take a look. There's still quite a lot of teams that haven't gotten into zone yet. It's going to be just a quick balloon coming in. We'll check back in with Citadel Gaming. Aurora getting involved here.
Ooh, okay. You could say getting involved because there's a lot of pressure going down on Citadel Gaming. You've got a couple downs and immediately keeping that Devo in check, where Effect is just kind of fencing out on the chase. They do disengage just a bit further from them, but they are not letting this one go. But you have to be cautious because knowing they were just downs, the reset is likely to have happened. You can already see all 3 up. Kaishi doesn't have full health, but that's where Remix and Zuni are going to look for that pressure onto Effect. He's looking for an angle with that wingman. Not sure if he's going to be able to get it. Oirein maintaining height and still watching the backside.
Yeah, Aurora's going to have time here. Really, it's actually going to be Citadel and GG who have I should say CTG specifically playing that low ground as they're going to try to get into Blossom. That's going to be a tougher route. Aurora's going to have a lot of time at Boardwalk as we see Alliance get taken down. The end of that fight, that will be just outside of City Hall as Make Europe Great Again will take Alliance out for a very early exit.
I thought you were going to say Alliance got bodied. And Alliance is getting bodied here today. This is just... I don't even know. I don't have words for it because it's something that's very uncharacteristic that I would typically say for Alliance to not be able to find their footing. They only have 14 points on the day with 2 games to go.
Look at the poll. I was going to talk about it earlier. Take a look at this. Everyone banking on Blossom. This is absolutely huge. We talked about it earlier. I mentioned, and I wanted to get back to it, that there were going to be decisions to make on this poll. There's a lot of the edge of City Hall, Respawn Beacon, as well as Zip builds in this. Everyone is going to have to leave. Look at now the play that Make Europe Great Again can walk into to decide where they want to play. Zip build is going to go fast without a doubt. Both sides of the Zip build going to go quick. Aurora, if they want, is going to be able to make that pull back to the bottom of Zip. This is a massive pull, and you could tell has caught the entire lobby off guard. Not one single of our 17 teams were ready for this one.
Well, Mega, the Horde, and Team Heretics going to walk into something nice. For Ben and SJP2, we're still down very much on the outskirts. We'll then have to go up towards the north. I think this is a fight that we disengage from. This is not worthy. If you're not feeling confident on grabbing these kills here, then you just focus on that rotation. The chance of you guys clashing again could potentially happen. But with that pull, you run the risk of having a very great game. Good, nice moment there for Heaven or Icon to get Irie and Suki back in.
And now, Ben, as you said, a team with a lot of time, still just outside draft, but let's actually go all the way back to Heaven or Icon. We talked about them resetting, and it's still early enough where this should be a comfortable reset and a comfortable balloon not too far away. They can easily just kind of get just past zone, probably to settlement now, and they will be pretty safe as they're going to have to make either a draft or an E-Bank rotate. Either one is going to be pretty safe for them because everyone's kind of cleared out of the rest of the side of the map, so it's a big, big move to the west for Heaven or Icon.
Yeah, definitely Team Heretics. And here come the Horde. This is going to be a completely isolated fight, so should be able to get scrappy with this one, but you still want it to be quick, knowing that that ring is going to collapse soon, and your rotation will be nice. Your only issue will be Mega. So with Hardeki on the Watson, taking some shots there, thanks with the Hemlock, I see them bypassing. I wonder if we're looking for information to know where that circle is going to go. And I think Team Heretics was looking to access some of the resources on the outside to do that.
Yeah, definitely. And it's going to be Heretics also, as you had kind of alluded to, on the Cat. So both teams are pretty interested in that console. Heretics actually going into zone. It's a perfect call from you, Tiff. They will go to the Galleria console for that Cat to hit that console.
Well, then they're going to get that information and they're going to know exactly that we can call the which side we need to hit that pool, because these end games in E-District always have much more populated teams, and with 17 squads remaining and about what you'd say about 80% of them making the wrong assumption there based on the lack of information, is going to make this really interesting.
It really will. Make Europe Great Again, by the way, is the first one to get in. Zipline Mafia, unsurprisingly, they have taken Respawn build, the compound that's just on the top zip. All of that's going to start to go quick. Keep in mind, almost no one can get everyone's tucked into Blossom, and we're of course way past the crypto game, and actually no one can even get UAVs, no one can even get consoles to understand what's happening. So a lot of these teams are getting this info late.
And that's not what you want. Apex Legends in comp is such an information-based game and resource management for Endline, but Zipline Mafia on your screen now, they definitely have made their way into the proper side of this next circle, but they're not alone. We talked about Mega moving in and that's essentially what they're looking at here. But since we don't necessarily want to full send on that low ground, but making sure that we're taking resources away from them and showing presence, I think is going to be valuable.
Yes, certainly. And one thing to also look out for, it's going to be a little bit later, but there's going to be one team that wins the choke from Neon into kind of that side of Zip build. That's going to be such an important battle to watch. A few teams are almost certainly going to choose that. They're going to choose the Neon route instead of going over and kind of moving all the way down the bridge from Blossom all the way up into Boardwalk. So we're going to keep an eye on both sides of this zone.
Ooh. I like that this is kind of eerie. This is a weird moment in this map. It's the post pool, it goes even deeper, and we still have that large majority of the rotation that's going to have to come through. And Heaven or Icon, they weren't even in that prior pool. They were still so far down on the south side, and there's still different pathways that we can take, but it's not going to be easy no matter which way they choose. And for Aurora on your screen now, this will be difficult. This little point here, you've got a team just below you, and you have to be able to walk right in, but there's a team lying in wait.
And it's Aurora now, as you said, just holding bridge, and It's a great spot for them. There's going to be a lot of action on all sides of this bridge, though, and Aurora needs to be a little bit careful, and you could just tell that they've just fenced up and genned up, and they know they need to win this bridge. The goal is not any of these, kind of like you were pointing out, Tiff, the goal is not to win any of these specific fights. It's win bridge, be the last one here, and then decide exactly when they want to rotate.
Yeah, it's live. It's grab as many points as possible, right? And for Heaven or Icon, they did decide to take this kind of more right path, and they just go through the thralls of it. Irie, 5 HP, gets a knock before being completely eliminated and stay healthy. After that 24-point win in map number 3, live to see another day. Now, what this does is basically send up warning signs, and a couple of teams are going to branch out to look for it. Citadel Gaming, though, we do have to check in with them. They're going to be on the bubble. They've had a good match day. They've had some bad ones, and now being in 13th overall on the series leaderboard, surviving this next rotate will be basically the bane of their existence.
Zuni sets TP very weak. He sets it. He's going to make the call to take, and actually we'll see exactly where they end up. Citadel has a very interesting story with this zone pull. We'll get back to that, though. Let's take a look at Blossom Bridge.
Oh my god! Vicious! We lose out on Hoodie. MG Clutch is already low, and Chaotic is just being slammed here. How do you even survive when you just get jumped? Can you even get behind the counter? Good thing you've got knockdown shields. Whoa! Clutch grabs SJP2 down? Are we living?
And the Maggie Ball bounces, but does not make any impact in the back of the shop, which is going to be huge. It's going to be another push coming in here for Ben. They will get the wipe, stay healthy with an earlier exit than they would have wanted after that last win. They will be eliminated.
Oh my god. Oh my god, Colonel Node, Pixel Lumina, they're full sending onto this. There's no way that Chaotic Much and the Vicious are going to be able to live throughout this. The time is just not there, so they will take an early exit outside the top 10, and that's unfortunate for Colonel Node and Pixel Lumina. Now you have to set your sights forward, and this is not going to be easy. We have to look for resources. Do we have evacs? But it's the Horde. I said 10 to 15 business days, and it is here. That lateness for them waltzes them right into endgame circle.
Yeah, the Horde's not complaining. They're coming just off a boardwalk side, and they're actually in a great spot. You could argue in the best spot. We'll take a look here at Infinite, though. A lot of these teams, I want to talk about this ramp. I mean, of course, this is a ramp you never want to, you only want to transition on that ramp. You never want to spend time in the game there. So, oh boy, TP is not safe. TP is not safe.
TP into the Horde, and they let out the cry, and you survive. But you know what that means? They're going to immediately chase you. They want to finish this out, and YQ finds Max Strafey on the other side. So it's Blessed that wants a piece of this as well. Aurora sets their sights on Pixel Lumina as they try to rotate. They're defending the bridge. This is the last stand that they're looking to make, and they take down Pixel Lumina.
Yeah, like we said, it was always about the bridge. If kills happen to come to them, they're going to be happy to take them, but it was always about holding down this ground, and right now avoiding the drills. They've got gates. Keep in mind, look at this on gates on both sides. I love this from Hiarka. You have these pre-gates coming down from the axle, which at this level of play is essential. You don't use them in gameplay when you need them. In a lot of cases, you need to pre-gate at least one gate so your team can kind of hold a lot of space wide.
Ooh, we see Citadel Gaming falling. The Heretics lose out on one. And with the Team Heretics trying to stand, it's Alonzi, your Seer player, backed away from the fight, shield batting. This takes up some precious time, but for now, you're surrounded. You know that this is going to be incredibly difficult, and you're waltzing right up to the coverage underneath Zipline Mafia.
Yeah, this is not easy for them, and Syracuse is going to buy them just maybe a second to get the wrench off, but going to just try to hold. But here on the low ground is GG versus Aurora.
And they have to. They basically have to slam into the next circle. We see Gamin Gladiators fall. Colonel Node falls as well. And now it's Infinite jumping into the mix. Another fight for them. And get into the listening, because I've got to hear these comms. Will they survive?
No stopping. Ils sont one. Ils sont le Cyr. T'es là, Axel, derrière knock. Sur moi. Laisse pas une selle.
Nice. C'est bien, c'est bien, les gars, c'est bien.
Un kill.
C'est bien, c'est pas beaucoup, mais.
If I go down, you're coming with me, Brav. That's basically what they just said. If we're not surviving here, I'm bringing everyone that I can get.
Absolutely. And as soon as this pulled off, by the way, zone-wise, as soon as this pulled off the top zip build, teams would have known that it's going to be on the zip itself. Once you left the respawn beacon, teams know they have to get on the zip line. There's been very few zones here, by the way, especially recently. This is an older zone, which brings up an important note. You've heard a lot in scrims lately. Older zones are back, without a doubt, across all the maps that we're playing. They're somewhat someone checked a box somewhere in the back end, and there's a lot of old zones in place. So we'll be going now to the south. We saw this, just a few of them a few months ago, but it's a pretty rare zone at the bottom of the zip.
Well, if we're going back with old habits die hard and you reunite some historic players on Mega, guess what? They're in circle and they're feeling good about it. It's, yeah, 9 Impulse plus a Kraber. Name a better duo.
Not too bad, especially an infinite ammo one as well. And as we now get into our final squads here, it's not a lot of playable space. This thing is almost certainly kind of going to pull, as we often see on ED, right on the canals, is kind of right into this open space.
Ben full sends straight into Mega, and Bless is on the other side. So we are just burning. We've got caustic barrels that are just eating alive. And Nate's like, I thrive in the chaos. I was born here, and I am going to survive this. For the Horde, with a Kraber on the back line here with 9 Impulse, you're keeping tabs on Zipline Mafia. Whoever wins this claims the northeastern side of things.
Yeah, an absolutely big battle here. So 9 Imps is going to just try to get this angle, and it's a good spray on SS11. That will be Zipline taken down right away. Horde wins it, and they will clear their backs.
Horde has 18 kills. We're about to take down a third of this lobby. Could be one of the biggest games of the day, and they have the side of circle towards themselves. Mega takes down Ben, and it's Blessed for the 3rd team on this side. Those 2 teams, Blessed and Make EU Great Again, are basically going to keep poking at each other. But these are the big games that both of these teams needed.
Yeah, and you talk about that. It's a great catch by you, Tiff, on 18 kills for the Horde. There might even be more to come here, especially if they time this third party correctly. On Bless is essentially going to have to push into the back of Make EU Great Again, unless there's an earlier send from either team, which I'm probably expecting Make EU Great Again and Blessed to go up against each other. On this fight, it could be even more for the Horde.
Well, they have the infinite ammo Kraber. You've got Hardeki already separating out from the 3, looking for picks if he can potentially get it. But if you open an angle for 9 Impulse to get it down on either team, that is going to be that signal in which that you basically full send. So you're watching the kill feed, you're watching the teams, and Hardeki's making geometric shapes out there in the water and setting the pylon down for their next move.
I mean, beautifully done, right? He's established a home for the family. They have a place to go to. They've got everything set up, as you say, all the pieces of the puzzle completely fenced, and a perfect placement for the gen as well. This should be their game.
And now you hold your breath. 0 for 1 on that shot, and we lose out on our plates, but the jump is there. We are all 3 up and in our new home. Here's where Blessed is. Max Strafe is going to hold that side, and they're kind of turtled up behind the foliage. This kind of opens up the angles for Mega, and we've formed this weird Bermuda Triangle of an end game.
Yes, we absolutely have. They're both, Mega and Blessed, going to get pushed out of their spots around almost exactly the same time. The Horde is the only one that's going to be safe, and it's a question of how does Blessed drop down, and how does Mega drop down from their height as well.
Ooh. The Grim Reaper down below. We're just biding our time. Position being revealed, and this is where you're starting to see the movement come through. Max Strafe on the low. Hardeki poised and ready, and he is waiting there with the Kraber shot, and Blessed gets eviscerated. Now you just have the Horde and Mega.
Decent damage coming in from Zidane on the Wraith. And that's going to be a first knock here. They're going to have the man advantage on the push.
There's 2 down. We're just looking for the last one, and it's going to be Hardeki, the Grim Reaper, on the other side, but there's not much you can do when you've got the firing squad of Mega looking at you. And Mega take the win here in game number 4.
What a game from them. And we talked about Mega, how this was a different roster with a completely different season outlook, and even, of course, different results since the team change as well. Bringing the former world champion in Zidane onto the team has paid off in dividends, and I think that game is great evidence of just how good Mega is looking here in the back half of the split.
We saw a lot of good fights from them on Storm Point. They didn't actually convert and get into a map win just yet, but the way that they played to get there is really nice. Now, we saw 80% of our teams make the wrong call when it came to which side of the circle you wanted to play from. You know who doesn't? Mega. Mega get into the dead center of circle. They play it nicely. They walk away with 13 kills and a win for 25 points. I do want to give some shout outs there to the Horde, who walk away with 20 kills.
Crazy.
20 kills, bruv. That's a third of the lobby. I said they could do it, and they did it.
29 points from that game, and it's just a reminder that even at this level, all it takes is one pop-off game, and not just a match day, not even a match day reign, but all it takes is one game in a set.
Yeah.
And as we're going to see in the standings, of course, everything's just blows wide open when these teams pop off that way.
You know, it's the great kind of quandary of Battle Royale gameplay, because you have to take it as a pro. You have to try to find the consistent beats where you're getting points each game. You're treating this as a long-term investment in order to have a chance to win. But if you do that all the time and you don't get these pop-off wins, well, eventually you get into a lobby and then the team that can win this big ends up winning the championship. And so you have to find a way to balance that out. So far, I think the top 3 teams, probably top 4, have been the best at that. Make EU great again. They have just been phenomenal across the board. Look at that, 25 and 24, keeping it balanced, getting plenty of kills, but stay healthy. That one game pushed them into the top. Only 4 points in this next game on E-District. I don't know if that's a sign of things to come. We'll find out, Tiff, as we jump into this next game, but the Horde, really, Tiff, I mean, this is a team that, you know, they've got all the pieces, right? 9 Impulse, Kazakh, former teammates, Hardeki comes back in, but we know what he could do. 11 kills. Arguably inconsistent, right? But maybe if he is at his best, on the level of effect.
Yeah, look, I mean, that's a great comparison, right? If you're going to walk away with double-digit kills after that, there's a reason that man has earned the nickname Grim Reaper. It's stuck with him over the years in Apex comp, and this is a solid domination, right? And Kazakh, 9 Impulse, some of the players that we've been following for a long time as well. Ever since Kazakh played from Red Dragon, like if that's a name, chat, and you're like, what is that? Go look it up. I'm saying, scroll through some Apex Wikipedia pages. They've been here, and making this presence known, I'm not surprised that they were able to take down a third of the lobby here, and it was very well needed, considering we've been talking about the teams that are on the bubble looking for land qualification, right? They're sitting in 7th place coming into today. This is the last time we're seeing Group A, so you need as many points as possible, knowing just how tight that score line is.
Yeah, currently sitting in 4th, and you know, these guys, we saw them, Tiff, in December of last year. 9 Impulse and Kazakh made their way out to Chicago for the Red Bull In event. I mean, they were probably the team that traveled the farthest to be there, but they were also the winners. We know what that duo is capable of. It was just a matter if Hardeki's going to fit, and so far, fitting very well. On the kill leaderboard, though, you got to say Nate, man, really a standout. Koost as well, currently in the lead, those top 2, but tied for 2nd with Guts, Oirain, Hardeki, and Effect. So some familiar names, Rob, on that list. Everyone seems to be having a pretty lights out day. A lot of the individual gunners in EMEA all in this group A versus C and all performing well.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, popping off the names that you expect to see at that top of that list, certainly, and also to be this many games in and have that many people tied for 2nd place in kills is quite special as well. It just kind of shows you the distribution of how kind of a lot of teams are putting up big performances today. And I would have said, if you asked, you know, if you asked EMEA fans what this table was going to look like, nobody would have had this series results so far, which is a special thing to be able to say at this level of play.
Yeah, I mean, let's take a look at that. You know, I think, you know, kill leaderboard, it's an indication of what ultimately is going on today. And it's also an indication that things are pretty tight here and could be something that maybe the next game opens up a wedge between the teams in the top 5. We'll see, though. But if you guys want more Apex, if you're thinking, man, we're on game 5 coming up, I need some more. Well, we got some more for you. May 29th, you can watch our twitch.tv/Bolo Apex Creator Tournament Series kick off. $25,000 prize pool, but maybe the coolest part is that every single invitee has to find a creator, and they have to find someone who has not made it past Diamond to join their team. So it could be you. It could be somebody who just gets lucky to pull a new player onto the scene into this crew to compete for what will be an amazing time. Make sure to check that out, twitch.tv/Bolo. It's the first of a series that's going to continue on. All right, Brav, you've done great, man. Take a break. Tiff and I are going to head into game 5 here on ED and see how this continues to shake out. Make EU great again. Man. They are certainly doing it. And, you know, I love the storyline between Zidane. I mean, I like the way that this team is also just executing today. They're a team that, you know, honestly, sitting in 13th place out of regional land qualification, very fine in regional finals right now, Tiff. But this is the type of performance that they need to feel good about being in that top 9.
Yeah, it is really something that we've been looking at historically, right? This is the team that just, you know, Nasky retires, steps away from Apex comp. You get the new replacement in with Zidane joining, and it's a reunite between them and Kiner. You talked a lot about that at the top of the show and what that was going to look like, because with Nasky, they're coming off one of their better match day performances, and it's like, can they replicate that success? And of course, it's looking really nicely for them, but with the kind of point sponge that we're seeing from our top 4 teams in terms of points, okay, if you're on the outside, like I'm talking about Alliance, who's basically at what, like 13, 12 points on the series leaderboard?
Yeah.
You got to turn it around. You got 2 maps to do it.
Yeah, I mean that is usually what we end up seeing. Alliance, a team that is at the top, taking the points away from the teams that are currently at the top right now. And maybe it's the fact that Alliance are just gunning into ramming their head against the wall, with the conduit, and obviously just committing to this different type of play style that is works some ways. They played a lot of Axel. They've switched off of the Axel this last game. We'll see if they go back to it to try to pick up the pace again. They opted for a bit of more of a defensive approach, but this is a new look at a group that pretty much always has Alliance and Aurora battling for first and second place. So definitely a room for teams like Citadel that we needed to go big today, Orgless and Hungry as well, to do it. But it's kind of unfortunate they're not taking advantage of the moment.
Well, it's interesting, right? We talk about Citadel. Their outlier was a first overall match day that happened in match day number 5. Everything else for them has been either 13th or 16th place overall. And where are they? They're sitting just sandwiched in between that with 14th on our leaderboard. With 2 maps to go, we could go either way. I would prefer to see something in the top 10, especially when you're in 11th seed coming into this, trying to secure yourself a spot in that top 9 for Mega, for Stay Healthy, the Horde, Aurora, Team Heretics, and even Infinite. I'll throw Ben in there, right? 37 points. We have a 12-point spread on our series results, and anything can happen in 2 final matches. I do, Rain Day, want to touch really quick. We have the Watson ban. In map number 4, it was a tie between Wraith and Watson on pick rate. But of course, Hardeki locking in the Watson does mean that Watson will be banned.
Yeah, I mean, that is a big character. She's dominated, and also the team sticking with Newcastle. They're shifting over to pairing that Newcastle with the Caustic. We'll see how that has an impact. Obviously, looking to see normally those types of characters with the Gibby or the Caustic carried with somebody like the Valkyrie. Not going to be happening here in this lobby. And so you're going to be able to look at different looks at how they're going to get this Caustic into in-game. One of the things we say is, get Caustic into in-game, you got a chance to end the game. But the fact is, that's the difficult part. So no Skyward Dive here. Gonna have to rely on Wraith portals. And for teams like Citadel Gaming, they're gonna be going the approach of using the Axle and taking a look at it here with Nate and Kiner and Zidane on Make EU Great Again. They're opting to just go back to this tried and true of Wraith, which is Tiff, Wraith hasn't gotten a lot of the highlights, but she's been utilized really well. For Fun Esports and Cinetic yesterday did a great job of showcasing the perk where you get invulnerable when she starts her portal, actually saving them on a couple of edge zone cases where they had to kind of push past several teams. They were caught at the edge. Cinetic could make his way through, make his teammates nags and invulnerable, and then bring them back out on the other side of things, win the fight, and continue going on, ultimately to have a chance to win the game. So Wraith, certainly, I think a little bit not forgotten about, but slept on a little bit considering all the changes we've had this season.
Yeah, but it's really nice to see. We talk about kind of some of the old circles coming into play. Now we got the Wraith coming into play, and this time going down south. It's been, I would say, about 2 years since I've cast a Southern Zone on E-District. And I don't even know if ED's been out that long, but SJP2, if you want to benefit from this, my guys, since the circle is coming to you, we survive here.
The Volgrath has had a lot of moments to make things happen in these fights. These teams, SJP2 has basically had to pull off the miracle. They would have had to win yesterday and win today, and they still probably wouldn't have been able to qualify. But they've just been engaging in fights, and that's why we continue to see teams, Sneaky and Volgrath in these engagements. And why not? Try things out, see what works. You're going to be going back to most likely a chance to try to get into Pro League again. You've got experience. You want to keep that experience up, build off it into this next season. Sweepy and Potassium, K-Swinny also looking to try to finish off this fight, but just delayed yet again. Volgrath, the last one standing. Gonna hit the Maggie Ball. They're gonna Maggie Ball right back with K-Swinny. Volgrath still holding that low ground stare. Taking a little bit longer than I would have thought for them to finish this off. They're finally gonna get the knock there, and Volgrath's probably just gonna have to leave. Still engages. Dinze there on the bottom. Triple take from Sweepy. And my goodness, Potassium lose this one, and SJP2 come out on top.
They do. This took quite a minute, but Old Town has been secured. And now this fight lasts for what? A minute or two, and this allows a ton of teams to start waltzing into this next circle. For the teams that have been relatively easy on the rotates, well, that's been nice. But we turn towards the north with the longest rotations for Team Heretics and Aurora, and it's just Alonzi left.
Yeah, Team Heretics in a pretty good position. 6th place coming into today, 67 points. right underneath the Lions, who have 68 in the overall regular season standing. So 6th and 5th. The cutoff for 9th right now is actually where Blessed have been sitting coming into today, 56 points. And so the next one closest, Infinite, Citadel Gaming at 55 and 50. You got to remember, though, that these are A group teams. So if you're at the cutoff now, you can imagine that it's not going to stay that way once Group C and B play next weekend. So still job to be done. Colonel Node making it seem pretty difficult for Citadel Gaming to climb that hill now. 4 points yesterday overall, and now goes out early in game 5.
Starting to lean towards the lower side of the leaderboard, and I hate saying that elsewhere. The Aurora, well, that looks friendly. That looks friendly. Oirain will let you have it, as Team Heretics is now one of the first 3 teams out of our lobby. They will have one more chance to move up the leaderboard in terms of the series results. And Aurora, 3rd overall on the day, racking up some more kill points now. Have to rotate in from the northern side of things. We still have to get through Energy Bank. We could navigate through Galleria, but if we choose Energy Bank, we're probably running into at least one team.
And Aurora and Orgless and Hungry about to run into each other. Another story for the team behind the 8 ball, trying to find a way to catch up. Zane, Lufka, and Blast, Gaming Gladiators. I mean, not at all behind the 8 ball. Really successful day yesterday. Pushed them up 3 slots into the 4th overall position in the standings in EMEA. Looking to do that again. And there's that Wraith portal demonstrated that I was talking about. Blast completely invulnerable standing in that until the other side of the portal is released. So a lot of time that you can buy with that new change to Wraith. It got a little bit, like I said, slept on because of all the new introductions to Axel, another skirmisher in that same class, but still very, very effective. We'll see a lot of her on display here.
Well, Colonel Node, one team wiped for them already with 3 kills on the board. They set their sights on at the next fight. This time it's Alliance, which I would say the heavy hitter in the mix of it, but with the catalyst wall coming down, Alliance immediately dives onto the low ground. It's Aku and Unlucky. They get boinked by the Magni ball, and still you have Kuro that does fall. So a little 2v3, but everyone's pretty low. Keep your eyes on Hackis, and he does. Calls it out right there. And just 1 HP. It's Beamsy versus Aku and Unlucky. Health advantage not necessarily there, but Aku, a shred, stays alive. The dreams for Alliance and getting points. Oh my god. Not flashy, but it works.
But it's not over yet. The Vicious hear that fight. How close are they? Do they have an Axel to be able to rotate onto it? Seems like they are going to not have that character. They'll be rocking the Wraith, Gibby, and Mackie, so they'll be slowly making their way. If that's an Axel team, Tiff, Alliance might be dead, but it's not. And so it gives a little bit of an opportunity here for, obviously, Alliance to be in a good spot. Alliance now 17 points, trying to climb their way up. Usually a team that we see in a top spot. Certainly underperforming today, but Aku's got their team back up after Hockey's was down, and they're a full 3 again.
Quick reset, and I love that we saw the electrified bubble come through, and the Vicious kind of take an angle, they look for it, and then they're like, nah, I don't think we want this fight. Let's focus on the rotation. So good look at where that circle is going to be pulling towards. SJP2 surviving that initial fight against Potassium lends them the deep south, right? They've got where the 2 circles are intersecting. No one's really challenging for that. Maybe stay healthy, poised to try to take that position from them. But my biggest questions of the day are going to be Aurora, Orgless and Hungry, and Zipline Mafia, and which sides of the rotation they look to take.
You know, that sounds like a girl living in Georgia, Tiff. Talking about the deep south.
No, that's a little Nikki reference. You're welcome.
As a man that lived in Georgia as well, I understand about the deep south, man. I'm back in LA though, so happy to be here. Alliance and the Vicious obviously still chasing each other up on here, and as you pointed out, this southern zone is going to be interesting. It's very, very, very tight right now, and obviously the teams at the northern side are going to probably be the ones in the most action, but that southern side as well. You got to think about it. The Horde already in a building, they will be confident in holding it, and maybe some teams getting desperate trying to hold back and fight them. So we might see a 3v3 isolated, but currently the one that we're focusing on, it's Alliance trying to finish off the Vicious, who had a chance to take them out, but maybe just not the confidence, maybe not the timing, maybe not the team comp to hit that 3P. And now Chaotic Much, not sure if he's going to be able to do much.
No, there's just too many angles that Alliance was able to take onto Chaotic, and we thought about what this would look like. Would Alliance basically play the last 2 games in our series to really jump up the leaderboard? And when you see that kill leader pop up, they're already on 5 kills. And now, of course, the Vicious does make an escape. There is still 1 member up, and they're kind of heading down towards Shipyard Arcade. With the timing for Alliance, you see, that's MG Clutch, the final there. Hackis is actually kind of leading the pursuit. but this does open their back to the potential for those teams making their rotates in. With Axel still in play, you're going to have those Nitro Gate rotations come through.
And that is going to be so important. You have to play around it as if it exists, even though most teams don't have it. One of the questions I levied at Graceful the other day, just what does that make you have these conversations? And it got confirmed with Zuni saying, hey, you got to plan like there's an Axel potentially rotating on you. It may not be the case, though, and that's just the threat that this character has brought, the changes that we've seen as we start into Season 29 in our ALGS. But McClutch, Chaotic Much, the Vicious finding a way to stay alive after really getting aggressed on from Alliance's side. Well done by them. Their dream, their vision, well, it's still possible.
It is. And they decide to reset down there in the south. Alliance calls off the chase and they focus on that rotation up, right? So we see them kind of carving out, but look who's just ahead of them. Stay healthy. We've already saw them win one match and they want to stay at the top of the leaderboard. Didn't really bounce back after the momentum from that, but this is a good chance for them to stifle the comeback that Alliance is looking to mount.
Hockey's hitting a shield bat here on Seer. Doesn't like getting poked like that. Hockey's not a fan of it. And rightfully so. Stay healthy. I think they played the best overall single game today. And I love the way that they're approaching these fights. They know when to apply pressure. They know when to hold back. Taking some shots onto a effect as Aurora flies by. And they land near the Vicious. Well, they've been given a second chance at life. What can they do with it? Maggie drill into the bubble. Chaotic Much gets almost taking more damage by his own drill than Aurora does. Not able to find any kills there. Wraith Portal immediately. Hierarchy goes back, finishes off McGlutch, and now they're in the building. Zone right at the edge, but it seems like the Vicious have not capitalized on this opportunity.
No, and when you have Aurora basically slamming straight into a contention for that building from SJP2 with Vicious at your backs, this is the kind of thing that you're like, okay, look, we can really work with this. And the portal's there, and we're just trying to put the finishing blows into Aurora. That they live to see another day, and the Denze res should come through. There it is. Now, the Vicious out towards the right. SJP2 out to the left. And Aurora, look, they're still trying to thrive, and it's tough.
But they're taking it away and they're taking it back. Aurora, no, they don't have a good spot to play. They're just buying time. But, you know, the Vicious are not committing onto this fight to finish Aurora. They're not taking the portal and they're not staying in that building. And so the Vicious might just be the team that goes down, and Aurora actually gets Oiring back as a result of it, and they lose Chaotic Much. To me, this is just a matter of hesitation. And Aurora maybe showing too much of a threat. They might have just realized who that team was, didn't want to take the fight. But I feel like you're already in for a penny. You got to be in for a mile, you know, and I think this is a really, really big opportunity that was maybe missed by the Vicious, as Orgless and Hungry now have the Catalyst wall trying to slow down this fight that's on them.
Yeah. And his last two teams up in the north, so they have plenty of time to make this happen, aside from the fact that the ring is going to be at their back and the boinks come through. With the fact that Taxington stays up and in it with just a few seconds as Excuse decides to climb back in, as Orgless and Hungry down to their last player, and multiple players from Zipline Mafia just full send and realize now we have to go. Hit the res, their time is now, and they're just basically gonna have to slam into that next circle, which is gonna be tough, right? There's a ton of teams gatekeeping on that northern side.
Aurora alive somehow. This team maybe feels destined for a big win this time around. Effect has gone down. They've got to craft the banner. It's now up to Hierarchy and Oirain. Hierarchy, the world champion, hoisted the trophy on the biggest stage. Effect, a land champion as well. Oirain trying to get there. Been in the conversation for many, many years. But could this be the team that takes him to the top?
Well, Aku coming back in from Alliance there, so nice little reset. Do see Infinite fall out of the lobby, so we're down to our final 13. And Alliance, after getting Aku back in, they're still barreling forward. This time, it's stay healthy yet again. This fight was potentially going to break out, of course, on the western side of things, but it's looking like it's favoring Alliance. And as I say that, the curse from Unlucky comes through. Another down goes the way, and Hack is trying to keep the movement going forward and cleans up stay healthy with ease. Now, here's the reset, and Aku up playing oversight. Zipline Mafia rotates straight into them.
And I think Alliance looking a lot more comfortable on the Seer Maggie Catalyst. I think it's just giving them maybe a little bit more of the stability that they were looking for. The Conduit Axel is just so aggressive, and Hockey's such a great playmaker, decision maker. You can see how, you know, really one of the benefits of not trading out effect, but one of the reasons he wanted somebody like Aku was to fit in, to stop doing things that were not adjacent to what he wanted, that were maybe having him to kind of, hey, slow down. I got the plan for us. I think he needs a composition like that too. It almost feels like Hondo and Axel, not quite that. For a team that doesn't need to slow down at all, only wants to keep up the pace, they're in first. It's make EU great again. A little bit of a skirmish here. Let's listen in and see how they handle what's in front of them with blues.
Allez, crack à jour.
Très bien cyclé ici.
Ok, je pense qu'on va dans le jeu pour les marquettes allumées.
Ok, j'en ai un.
C'est une team Maggie, ça va être compliqué.
Tiens, qui met
marquette à droite. Sûrement une game KP, les gars. Ok,
je prends ça.
C'est une zone de on va jouer pour le market à droite. Essayez pas trop prendre la pression non plus. On joue ça là, ici, sur le ping. On va essayer d'y aller sans TP, si on peut.
Vas-y.
Ok.
On est comment ensemble? On est tous ensemble ou pas?
Oui.
Ok.
Watch-moi un peu.
Personne dans les petits markets.
Je vais voir le côté droit, ok.
On peut 3-2 le... Ils ont une team dans leur tunnel, ok. Wall sur moi, Kainer. Wall ici. Wall collé là. Ouais. Ok.
Faire attention à notre back aussi.
Maggie en face de nous. Et Maggie en face de nous dans notre market, ils sont bleus.
Yes.
Ok, les mecs à notre droite,
je regarde notre back.
tunnel.
Je regarde notre back.
Ok, écoutez.
Setting up right there underneath, Blessed right behind them. And one of the things I noticed was just the all French. I mean, I think that just creates such an easier conversation for this squad. It's a small detail, it's a personal detail, but having to go to English to make sure everyone understands you, versus being in your native language, and all just kind of streamline it makes these decisions, these little fights, so much easier as Alliance clean up yet another one with Zipline Mafia on the other side. And so Alliance starting to find their rhythm with that composition, Tiff, we also alluded to, making Hockeys in his style feel a little bit more comfortable.
Yeah, it's looking really great. I mean, they're up to 13 kills on the lobby with 4,200 damage, which is really dang good compared to what they've been having go their way the past couple of games. They get the res back onto Unlucky, and we set our sights back onto Mega here in the north, right? You got Pixel Lumina, you have Blessed, and Gamin Gladiators essentially staring you down. So I think Zidon laying down the Wraith portal is going to be really nice. We have to look for playable space. What does that look like? We're bypassing the 6 teams that are standing in your way.
And this is the conversation that they're having, right? I mean, make EU great again. They're just invulnerable right now, so they're holding onto that space as long as they can. And now they're with Lufka, so they get the plan right. They get the really strong Newcastle wall, but Zidane is the one who was out there first. He's going to take the portal back just to buy some time. Was there pressure here? There wasn't. So he's completely safe. They got a caustic canister as well. I think it's a great play from them. They've got a space to kind of pressure in, but also good job on the other side of denying that move from Make EU Great Again. I believe it was Aurora who actually stopped them. So that is going to be where they want to play, but it's going to be very difficult to do it. They're going back as a 3. And actually, it was either the Horde or Gaming Gladiators actually above them. It might have been Gaming Gladiators who are right there on the top. You see the Horde? We'll see, but Make EU Great Again found their space.
Yeah, Pixel Lumina falls as Alliance. Its Hack is actually looking at them from the complete other side. Now, this allowed them to walk up, take a ton of space, so you can see they've got this. And with the Catalyst on their side, then we've got another neighboring cat looking for a wall rotate. Divide and conquer is essentially what they're saying, but Alliance is looking like final form and comfortability with their fight. But just try to maintain. Well, you've got multiple angles because Blessed walk up on you. You've got 2 members that you've got to fight, and Unlucky grabs a couple.
8 squads left as well. I love this. We're talking more about some of the rotations that have occurred. Trying to hold down that area with a Newcastle that doesn't hit the same without that Watson to support him and make sure that none of the ordinances can get through. And so you can see Mega just not able to handle the pressure. Alliance is alive and steals that spot. Mega forced to go up top, but there's the Horde as well. Heavener, they go down. The Horde's still in a great position here, Tiff, and I wonder if they can keep on this as Mega falls and Blessed falls. It's Aurora, the Horde, Gamin, and Alliance. Our top 4 teams, essentially, you could argue, in EMEA, all alive in this final zone.
Yeah, it's a big final 4, and it's a little chaotic with Alliance trying to make a stand, right? They're duking it out with the Horde. It's Unlucky now, trying to take an angle. The full coming through for Hack is just about to be there. Unlucky disengages, but gets picked up from Kazakh from behind. Really good job from the Horde to defend this. We still have lethals, we still have abilities, and we are just fighting through the caustic gas. Thanks to Hardeki, Alliance is down. Now we have this moment where we kind of breathe, right? Play off the ring collapse, because it's Aurora looking at Gaming Gladiators and the Horde across the way.
As my uncle once said at a party, a line I'll almost never forget. That's not going to be able to do that. And I just think of Alliance trying to climb up on the Horde. Yeah, that's not going to be able to do that right there. Hardeki is not missing. That is too high of a climb. And I just got to say that it's just one of those moments that you realize, well, we are just, this is probably the end of it. But it does leave Gaming Gladiators in a fantastic spot. Aurora and of course, alive, but it's a 3v3 now. GG have had the advantage the entire time. Tiff, can they take it all the way?
They might be able to. Look at her Arca. It's the duo, and Gaming Gladiators stand the line here in game number 5. What a powerful way to grab the Newcastle wall, throw down the mobile shield, and even with the flank that they try to pull, you turn around, you set your sights on them, and you just play a clean end game.
I love it. Blast, Lufka, Zane. I mean, they're finding a way. This is, I think, a conversation that we had a little bit with For Fun Esports and Cinetic, talking about why the swap from Zane to Tyler has worked so well for them. Well, Cinetic wanted to take Zane's role, but when it came to talking about what Zane does, he said there's pretty much nobody better in the world. He's one of the best fraggers in the world, and you're seeing that with Gaming Gladiators. A fight I thought, you know, hey, they were in a good position. Well, it wasn't even good. It was easy. That felt like Aurora didn't even have a chance. Great play from them. Aurora still the top point getter in this lobby with 22, but Gaming Gladiators with a win. Tiff, I mean, have they finally found their form?
I mean, look, if it's gonna come in EMEA match day 8, sure, I don't care, because your biggest gameplay, obviously, out of this split is making it to LAN, having an insane performance, and definitely looking to do so. But I will say it was Gaming Gladiators on that low ground where we saw Mega try to hit the portal play, and Lufka kind of walks out, denies them, and sends them back into the portal. You talked about them not necessarily being the highest points in the lobby despite getting the win, but it still kind of starts turning their day around as they climb 7 positions into 11th place with 26, with 1 game to go.
Well, they're in a great spot, right? 73 points here, sitting in 4th. They're 5 points above Alliance, who have 68 and 5th. Now, a bad day, like a nil, 2, 1, 3 points, that starts to get scary because they don't play next weekend. But if they can stay in this 11th, grab 9 points, if they can even jump it up and start grabbing double digits in terms of points, it's almost going to be impossible for someone not only to uproot them, but for them to not have a decent regional finals and still not make land. They don't even have to win regional finals. They just have to be decent. I think that is what Gaming Gladiators are aiming for, and you know, to do it in game 5, well, it's 1 game earlier than you need. Hopefully you got to keep it up in game 6 though, as the challenger circuit is just another example of the little moments making a big difference. We've had players who are now talked about consistently in our pro league every weekend that our split is alive, who came from the challenger circuit, and it's all because they started by registering. Go to battlefly.com/ALGS. Registration for our challenger circuit number 4 closes on June 3rd, so check it out if it's something that you're interested in any region that you're playing. Tiff, always excited to shout out challenger circuit. Those are where some of the best stories in the ALGS come from.
They truly are. It's like our proving grounds, right? I think some of my first commentating moments were actually in the challenger circuit as well. So a lot of good talent there. Not talking about myself, it's the players for sure.
Well, yesterday we had one of, if not the biggest, tied for the biggest single game climb from positions yesterday with Vision, going 13 spots up in the final game 6. Teams like Citadel, teams like Orgless and Hungry, if they're going to sit back and watch next weekend and hope to qualify, they're going to need a game like that.
They truly are. It's going to be exciting, and I can't believe that we only have 1 game left in EMEA reign. It's gone by so quick.
I can't wait. Let's see what happens. Game 6 underway to see if we can get another bit of magic in the ALGS. Sony InZone, the official audio and monitor partner of the Apex Legends Global Series.
Dude, holy
Senta,
Just steps it up today because we were getting some banging fucking POVs from EMEA this last fucking 2 days, bro. Holy shit. Great storylines, great games, fantastic composure, fragging out. Like, this is a generational 2 days for EMEA. They low-key feel back right now. This is awesome. This is what they needed so bad, bro, genuinely. Cap? Hell no, bro. Americas yesterday was a snooze fest, dude. Shit sucked. We had like one cool play from the Americas, genuinely. And that was a faculty from fucking Falcons. This is so much more fun. No one NA shot bodies yesterday, right? No one killed their former LAN champion teammates, bro, and then just fucking bagged the boxes. These fucking games are amazing for EMEA. They're killing it, dude. Killing it. Let's go, man. I mean, bro, we got a 20 kill second place game and an 18 kill fourth place game out of 2 squads. Then a GG bounce back win, bro. It's still in 11th place. Like, these games are nuts, dude. EMEA has put on a fucking show for us, boys. This is fantastic. Holy shit. Are some teams for next week who aren't? We'll go over everything. There will be some teams at the end of the week today, after this game 6, that are not qualified for regional finals and will face relegation. We'll go over that after this. So after this game number 6, we'll go back, we'll see, and we'll see what the comms are, bro, and how many teams don't qualify in out of these, for sure. Genuinely. OJ is chatting with Kazik and saying, I swear, boys, Hierarcha carried our asses. Dude, I love it. Hierarcha, bro, is such an interesting storyline because Hierarcha played with Izadon and Uchako and won champs, right, in Sapporo, and they played fantastic, like really, really good. But the one thing about him right now, because I know Uchako and Izadon are both very talented players. We're not going to sit here and act like his last 2 teammates were bad. Like, Izadon is fantastic. He's playing amazing right now for making you great again, and he's an absolute shooter. But the difference in chemistry and how much Effect and OJ trust him compared to Uchako and fucking Izadon towards the end of their life, bro, and their team life, bro, at the end of fucking Go Next is crazy. Like, crazy. I don't know what Hierarcha says to the boys, and I don't know what he does behind the scenes, but Effect and OJ love this guy. Love it. And to me, I am a gigantic fucking fan. Gigantic fan. I think so too, bro. I think a lot of what we're watching right now is Alliance having a horrible POI draft. Genuinely. For me, one of the main things for Alliance in these situations is just having a terrible POI for this fucking Storm Point. Like, they went to Storm Point and they chose the Outpost North. Like, their game 4 was not great. Game 5 was amazing. 18 kills, 4th place. But like, there's no reason at all for them to be choosing Outpost North anymore on Storm Point. So Alliance do need to hit a fucking 100% of POI change. It's great comms from you. Without a doubt, they need to. Because they have no more Trident. No one's scared to fight Alliance right now. Is the sad reality of the situation, right? You lose Effect. You pick up Aku. Aku's a great shooter. No doubt about it. But at the same time, it doesn't matter. It's not the same. You don't have the same legacy games and legacy tournaments that you have with Effect. So no one's going to be nearly afraid of Aurora or Alliance as they were with Effect. It's not the same squad, not the same chemistry. So, like, they got to change POIs. I fully agree, bro.
They're all the top center of E District. For the Horde, you know, they've been causing chaos on the eastern side of things, but Gaming Gladiators, fresh off that game win, situated themselves in 11th on the series results, right? Not anything to scoff at, but we still have a lot of room for improvement. If we can double down and repeat the success that we had in the prior game, I think this is going to be solid.
Definitely so much talent on this team. I think it's also worth noting yesterday, really solid ED games as well. They were actually in 2nd place after the first 3 games as they hit the console. And that should tell us that this last one could be really big for them. Let's not forget, as we're going to be going south, that this is a big week for GG. They came in 7th. They need to perform higher than 11th as we take a look at this poll. And there's a whole lot of shipyards still in there. This is going to be an interesting one.
We did have a Southern E District game where we had that SJP2 Potassium kind of scuffle there. I saw some shots fired already, so that's likely going to happen and be another repeat, but a lot of teams still already trying to dive into that Southern specific area. So teams like Orgless in Hungary, Aurora, Ben, it's going to be a bit of a journey for them, so I expect to see some fighting along the way.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, let's not forget so much of Southern draft, both Western and Eastern sides. But if you really look at where a lot of teams are going to be, I think, putting their eggs in terms of baskets, it will be that Southeastern side of draft on the Zip builds, especially expecting a lot of teams to move that way.
Oh, we talked about it. Here it is yet again. It was SJP2 that won out in the last time these two battled for the Southern Zone. And now looking a little lost, I'm not going to lie there for Denze. Down to just Sneaky for a clutch in the stairway. Takes down two, can't get the third, and Potassium answer back.
They almost go 3 for 3 on the day, but if you're a Potassium fan and a K-Swinny fan, you're glad to see that they're able to at least win one of the contests, and they will, for the first time on ED, be able to actually play into beyond the first moments of the game.
It's crazy when you're like, oh my God, we actually get to play the game. Crazy how that works. Let's see how far we can go.
Truly being tested there, and like you said, they'll look forward to on game 6 being able to play out the rest of the day and see how they can do. But Zidane going down very early for Omega, and actually even forcing a Nate Caustic ult on the wrap. He's desperately trying to go get away. He will go down as well. Just Kiner now trying to slide away into E-Bank.
Yo, Citadel? Citadel separating, make EU great again? Okay. Look, if I'm going to have someone be my solo player, I always want it to be Zidane last alive, because at least you have the Wraith, you can use the abilities. No, we've got a walking massive hitbox Newcastle over here, just trying to skirt out and go for the regain.
Yeah, desperately trying to stay alive. And that's what I was talking about. There's going to be such important battles between these teams. If you look at kind of the teams that we're talking about here, Mega, the E-Bank team, right, in terms of being kind of the 9th seed, just so many teams around the middle map that even those early battles of trying to find one another is just going to keep things really interesting as we check in now. Huck is scouting out Aurora, excuse me.
Oh, this is going to be a big one. It's going to be big. The electrified bubble already out, and Aku looking for a play. Kind of a scuffle. We see Oirein go down, Hackis to join them, and Aku really low on health. Same with Unlucky. This is a brutal fight.
Yeah, truly, both of them like 1 HP. Unlucky's forced to just wall down low, going to try to go for also the drag here on Hawkins, so might be able to keep the team up and now reset just a bit, but Effect's going to try to fly in. Unlucky with the beautiful spray coming out of the R9. He'll win that first battle. That will give them just a second to heal up.
From friend to foe in game, and that is crazy that we get it with the climb up. Now we're expending the ultimates. A bubble there, a bubble here. Pixel Lumina, Heavener IQ icon on your screen. And we're trading blows, but it's Pixel Lumina who do fall.
Wow, and guess what? Just based on where we are on the map right now, as he'll destroy some barrels, you could tell that, think back to Champs, right? We're kind of getting a little bit of deja vu on the Champs holds. If you think of this exact building that Oblivion was holding after Falcons decided it was not too important, a lot of teams are actually calling Shipyard here because of how much Shipyard is in. We already have about 5 or 6 teams in Shipyard, nobody in draft.
Interesting. You want to make sure that you're playing for a ring console for endgame, because we've seen how fickle the E-District circles have been in our series thus far, but Alliance, who have really stepped up in last game in their fighting prowess, continuing that here today. So great to see as you've made it to 8th overall on the series results, because we're talking like just a game or so ago, they were only at like 12 or 14 points.
Yeah. And look at Alliance. You could tell Hawkins, look at his movement. You could tell he's looking just a little bit to the left because Aurora is still coming out of the Lotus choke. So this battle is far from over. They're going to meet right here again, right in front of Canal Plaza.
Oh, there it is. Effect with a couple bullets out as well. Oirein takes the brunt of the damage. Another electrified bubble playing out towards the left-hand side. Skynades going through. Will they connect? I'd imagine we have plenty of time to dive down away from that, but here becomes the Gibby ults. They're trying to separate, and they do. Aurora kind of scurries in different directions, but you have this moment where Effect can take angles, but he leaves his right-hand side open and gets caught out.
Oh, gets caught out. Also, keep in mind, there's a Newcastle versus Caustic difference in this battle as well. It's going to be the Caustic on the side of Aurora. You just saw him go down. That will be the advantage that Alliance can now push.
Oh, and they are. Look at this. Hackis and Aku down to the 2 over there. They're playing around, but we jump back to the Vicious and Citadel gaming fight, and it is brutal. We're talking about that high to low ground disparity. Sometimes you have to drop down to low to look for the health, and now it's Citadel gaming up as a team of 3. Potassium elsewhere grabs Sweepy, and the slam comes in. The Newcastle wall has to drop down. but we still need the inside of the building. I feel like this gives us just like a lull before we dive deeper into the engagement.
Certainly, and I love what I like the idea, by the way, of Viaduct, because wait till you see exactly where this is going to go. Viaduct is such a good transitional hold here. If you need to get into Shipyard, if you need to go to Draft, it's going to give Citadel options on both very comfortable rotations. And take a look at the pull. It is an inverted champs pull, where last time everyone chose Draft. Instead, this time they take the bait. As you can see, the entire lobby, almost at least half, goes Shipyard. They will all have to leave. And Tiff, there are not many ways out of Shipyard Arcade. It is going to be carnage.
I feel bad for Infinite. I'm just going to go ahead and say that. You are in the choke. You are the gatekeepers of everyone down below. So you're probably going to have to find a different place to go from. For Colonel Node, you've got Mega on the horizon. You've got HM. You've got Orgless and Hungry. But this is something that you want to survive because you've got the pull. You don't necessarily know it yet, but you've got it.
Man, have we ever had some good surprise pulls today? Earlier, even on Stormpoint, as well as now, just watching the pull off of Blossom, now the pull off of Shipyard. It just provides us with, I think, the chaos that we all love to see in ALGS, and it is going to be a complicated maneuver. You've got 3 chokes essentially out of Shipyard, and instead it's just going to be a whole lot of fights happening there, man. And now Draft, as you can start to see, is going to start to get busy as well.
It's something us as viewers and our spectators love, is when the pools happen like this. As a player, you're like, not again. I cannot believe we made the wrong assumption here. But for Citadel, look, you're benefiting from it, right? You walk right into that next circle. You've got a ton of people around you. But when you're playing for endgame and playing for a turnaround performance, right, you want to beat the normalcy of that 13th and 16th on a match day overall, but you're situated still, sandwiched between the two.
Man, and what was once a great spot now for earlier for Zipline, now for Heaven or Icon, as we talked about, that building can really be God's spot if it was going Shipyard. Instead, teams like GG holding basement here in Shipyard, and they all not only have to worry about the rotation out, but they've got to worry about all of the company that they have at this POI.
I swear I had God spot.
Yep.
I swear.
Man, what a move.
Nice little setup here. And this is kind of what Gamin Gladiators does. They get into a position, they anchor down, and they try to play defensively towards endgame.
As we said, GG with such a good ED yesterday to be in second after 3, and then to also have the win we just saw, has put them in a place where they can really not only save the match day, but put some real big points on the board. But they're going to have to fight from the low ground. We'll check back on them in just a bit. CTG is actually going to be holding Zip build, and it's going to be Alliance coming through Apartments.
Oh, good. I was curious how they were going to navigate this. So knowing that they're looking for that next space, where are they going to take it from? Well, you're looking at Citadel. You've got Mega just out towards the eastern side of things, but you have a lot of options to go ahead and play from. But I want to see them kind of commit to something, which they're trying to do. And I think that they're feeling confident enough, just based off some of their recent performances on E-District, to be able to do just that.
Certainly. And also, we got Akko and the Wraith, and we know on a draft pull, I know you could argue any EDN game, but especially on a draft pull, just how important that Wraith is going to be, setting that TP. It's not going to be easy to get in, but I think they're going to be really happy with Apartments at this stage of the game, because they can look for the move that they want to make. As you can see, things are already getting tight here. We'll check in with Aurora not too far away.
All right, this is the timing that I'm liking, right? E-District, as of late, usually the past 2 matches we've seen, they really didn't have a ton of teams in endgame. But this one has the potential for a lot of that, right? Still 18 teams up in our lobby. There goes the Pop Bravo, and Team Heretics find themselves pretty much in the middle of things after that rotation.
Yeah, this is your traditional draft pull. This is not going towards the Zip builds. This is not going towards kind of the Southwest. Instead, this is the bridges and everything that kind of lies between there and the fan, right around that ring console. It's going to be a very traditional draft end with a lot of playable space, to be honest. A lot of teams are going to be able to tuck in here, especially with the amount of Wraiths that we have in this game. It's going to be quite a packed end game.
I'm all about it. Like, put me in, coach. Get me involved. No, I'm kidding. But for Colonel Note, I just saw that evac come through. Love that our observers dive straight into the POV, because we are getting poked, we are getting prodded, and we are forced to land with a shrivel of cover and have to go through the choke. There we go with the gate from Axel to hit the low ground, because, you know, you got Alliance sitting there, you got Citadel gaming with angles, and only so much to do.
You said it perfectly, Tiff. They saw Alliance, and credit, by the way, to Hakkasan Unlucky, because they're, you know, you can be at Apartments, but if you're not standing right there when you hear that evac, then you might get landed on, even accidentally, as we take a look now at what Infinite's doing. But it's going to be Alliance still holding space. Let's get into a listening now with Infinite.
Go right to go back knife.
Il y a une team bridge, ouais, on est fait.
Moi je suis autour.
Ok, enfin j'ai un longbow moi.
Ils ont réussi à reste pour le moment.
Ils ont bulle, ils ont bulle. Je vais ult après la bulle, moi.
Ouais.
Non, non, ult dans le défensif, non?
T'as TP vers nous, t'as TP sur nous. C'est TP sur nous. Y'a un mec close, il veut cap, je crois.
Ok,
Ouais, il a TP les glitch. Je donne pas
Attention
d'entrée.
à vol OS, attention à vol OS derrière. Juste en nol, dans le long des petites lignes.
Ouais.
My bad.
Ils sont en vie alors que je n'ai que des big.
Ouais.
Pour la zone. On joue un talkie dans tous les cas.
Ouais,
toujours pas nice, hein, toujours pas nice. Ils bougent, ils ont un mort.
Ouais, c'est vraiment panique de viaduc aussi, ça peut nous fight.
Deux morts.
Deux morts.
Ouais, je vois viaduc.
Ok.
Je
vois le viaduc.
Mais pas, fais attention à l'OS, je peux pas le back non plus ici.
Ah, ça, j'ai pied. Mais la zone, mon gars. Nique-moi ta mère.
Toujours free, non?
Toujours fait ou pas?
Non, je crois qu'il y a un.
Ah ouais? Faut essayer de Volkin là-bas, les gars.
Il y a une team en dessous du bridge en fait. Genre les Newcastle et tout, ils sont en dessous du bridge, regarde. Ils ont mis une mobile.
Et sinon, on passe au-dessus, les gars, on passe au-dessus, c'est le timing en soi. Venez, c'est un timing.
And Infinite is on the go. We saw a lot of information gathering from them, right? They're listening into the ultimates coming down from Gibby. You've got the Vicious and Zipline Mafia fighting out towards the left. They use that chaos to hit a rotate straight in.
Yeah, you could even hear in their voice that they know it was going to be a very tough route, and now they're just going to try to get into the mix, and they will be joining CTG as well as HM, and that will be really crowded along the bridges. But now also taking a look at the Vicious, they're still all the way out on Zip build. It's going to be them versus Zipline Mafia.
Ooh, this one's been going for a while, and I'm curious to see the end of it, but it just seems like it keeps getting drawn out. But when you have 38 seconds until that ring starts to collapse, you don't have a lot of time. You take a big shot of damage right there, and you just have to play timing and angles. But guess what? You don't even have to do that. Zipline Mafia is dipping out.
Yep, can't blame them. Good Skynade. They said, you know what, you guys win this one, we'll go ahead and take a different route. And to be honest, though, if we, they're going to just move along the southern bridge from the shipyard bridge, so it's actually going to be a decent route for them. A lot of action here, though. Look at CTG holding space above HM. They're going to be holding second level and not too far away. As we said, Infinite, by the way, did make their way just to the build, just east of Zip build. So it's going to be those three teams there with Stay Healthy trying to get involved as well.
Crazy they get a building. Back to Alliance. It's been a minute since we saw some of them on our main screen because we had to check in with a couple of their teams. Infernal Node, the fact that we're surviving in this vicinity is crazy. They did get a reset on one member of their team, but now that they're trying to hold out towards this side, we don't have a lot of space.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be just playing low below Alliance, and their main concern is they're just hoping that Alliance doesn't get involved in what their walk-in will look like from that low ground below this. Alliance is going to have a lot of things to look at as well, and if you're Colonel Node, you're just hoping that they're going to have maybe a straightforward ability to kind of get into the bottom of draft later, but Infinite now in a whole bit of a mess. Is now about 6 teams, by the way, on these 2 builds happening right here.
Yeah, this one hurts, right? We saw Infinite kind of talking about where they wanted to go. They time it just perfectly thanks to having Catalyst, right? You got the piercing spikes, you're reinforcing these doors that have been ripped out from underneath you. You lose out on Stay Healthy, unfortunately, from the lobby here in the last game. And now you see the layering. You called it Citadel, HM, the Vicious moving in. But for everyone that doesn't have a home, things are going to get messy. And it starts off with the Horde, who are trying to jockey for first place on the day. Hardeki down, 9 Impulse about to join him, but does withstand for the time being. Ticks of caustic gas and Kazakh. Last standing, can't do anything, will be evicted in second.
Yeah, that's, as you said, that's Ben on the caustic. Just Hikaru just making absolute madness out of the bus and top bridge and really taking advantage of that. It's actually going to be Maxime sending out the Sparrow ult and trying to get some damage across the map. Slab desperately trying to, maybe has to queue away as well to get away from the gas, able to just wrap the corner, and they're trying to look over each other here. This bridge is not easy. It's going to be GG, Ben, the Vicious, and Heretics all playing this side of the map.
And we've seen just how much that defensive comp from GG coming through can be so difficult to fight against. Now Slab, the Wraith, does dip out. Look who he finds. The remnants of some of GG looking for a reset. Down goes Lufka, down goes Blast. And we have 1 HP and a Dream, and it's not going to count for anything. Ben has been eliminated.
Yeah, an important win for GG. That will let them hold the entirety of the bridge, which will soon be out, but it's an important win for them to get them into the late game. But a lot of work to do. Very few teams are actually safe at this stage. They need to get off of both bridges and get much more towards center draft.
I don't feel safe, dude. It's Citadel Gaming, it's chaos. We're Eva aiding the drone from Axel. We survive for the time being, and we're healthy, okay? The Catalyst wall does kind of part the seas here, and we stay on this left-hand side. You look up straight into HM. Great timing on the bubble to survive to see another day.
Yeah, really good. The bubbling forward there not only lets them take space and the climb up, they also get the heal off after the ult. So as you said, just sitting on the outside of the bus here, they need to hold this space, try to move in on Alliance.
Oh my god, the battle with Unlucky, the bub to come down, and we're just kind of trying to navigate throughout. Here comes Aku, and he does just have, come on, the wingman, he's down, he's out. Remix Powers as well is gonna fall for the CDG. We're pulling him up, we get the reset.
Wow, the support reset comes in very quickly as well. They will actually take height over Alliance, but both teams need to get out of this build here and now.
And the Gibby ultimate, I just saw it get signified. Look at HM, they throw their electrified bubble down. Orgless and Hungry fall elsewhere, and things are not looking good for CTG and Alliance. It's a true brawl here, but I don't think either of them come out to live this.
Yeah, this is, I agree. This is such a tough angle for both of them. This is so untraditional because teams were kind of postured up southwest instead of your normal just coming in from the west where teams would have apartments. They'd have kind of the console building. Instead, everyone's getting pinched on this bottom side.
Zipline Mafia is going to fall elseward, but we are sticking with this fight. We have to see the end of this one. Colonel Node, though, across the way, Bless just in front of them, trying to maybe get a reset onto Max Strafe if we can. But Mega, we talked about moving into second place after we saw one of the teams in second fall and open the door. Can they get to the overall on the day?
Feels like this late game's so big. As you see, perfectly timed there by both you and our team here. Aurora in first, Mega in second, both still in the lobby as we get into the final stages of this game. Everything to play for here in match 6.
And there goes yet another res, a bubble forward, and Zuni looking to get up to full health if he can. Some coverage is really nice for them, but we still have to move the final round. It's closing, and down into the thralls we go, into the thick of it, and we are okay, but we find a lone rat in the sewers.
Trying to find Alliance in the sewers. He might have known that they were down there, but just going to drop Remix. Immediately Qs, and there's going to be a whole lot of carnage. Looks like they did have at least the Q. Not sure if a bubble's going to be able to go down, but they're just actually going to heal up through it. Alliance going to be taking a little bit of damage, but they stay alive as well.
I saw Zuni get fooled, but Remix and Kaishi still alive. Hakus and Aku, they're down on the low ground, and it's Colonel Node, a team of 3, just trying to play whatever coverage we can find. A good movement for them here. If they can make it into endgame and grab some kills, they could get them into maybe 15th, 14th overall on the day.
Oh, Alliance just holding down low. It's not gold, but it's a Devo, and it's going to be Beamsy trying to beam from height, and it's going to force the bubble. They'll now be able to wrap this corner, and still 8 squads left on a very small amount of playable space.
I can see this now. They're looking at HM. Aurora has fallen. I repeat, Aurora has fallen. They were the top of the leaderboard, so keep tabs on Mega. Can they withstand? Still, Orbit, Kuro, we're navigating whatever coverage we can find. This is the hell of E-District that I love to live in.
HM goes down as well. Infinite's trying to wrap this corner. As you could said, it's really all eyes on Mega, who is still alive, and they're almost alone on the western side. Down to 4 squads. Colonel Node goes out. Infinite will go out as we take a look at Mega still having the height here.
Alliance out, and Mega is a team of 3 looking like a final battle. CTG across the way, just 2 of them, and it's Team Heretics, the 3rd team in this fight. We want to go a little bit invulnerable. Into the bubbles we go. The wingman is out. CTG is down. We lose out on Nate, but it's Kainer and Zidon. We're not perfectly healthy. We don't have high ground, but we just have to withstand. The drop comes in. It's Yan's last alive for Team Heretics. Zidon, do we make this happen? The Wraith play comes in. We get it. Make EU great again. Take the win here in game number 6.
Beautifully done. Absolute chaos in the end. And he knew, even though he saw Jans on the height, thought to himself, I've timed my Q a bit better here. I'll be able to hold the ground and get all the timing of the Wraith Q to ensure that they get the game. It's a really good end game here coming in from Make EU Great Again.
I am just shell-shocked. I am just like, this is what I love. I told you, I love E-District games when there's a ton of teams. It's chaotic. You're kind of like holding your breath and trying to make sense of it if you're a player in that endgame and you're like, what do I do? You go for the Q off at that point. But that performance right there from Mega, I don't know what the scoreline looks like on the series results, but you just took 24 points and Aurora went out with 3.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about the amount of points that you needed there, and of course Aurora would have wanted a lot more from the day, and as you called out, as soon as they got eliminated, everything got a lot more interesting. But got to talk about that, talk about picking up a former world champion, and how fitting that it's Zidane in the end game as your last player alive, needing to just close out that game, and he's able to do it. And I think it's such a good indicator of what we can expect from Make EU Great Again. Weeks ago, this was a squad that was not even qualifying for LAN. Now they are much more beyond that. This is a threat to EMEA.
Ooh, a threat. Look, if you're going to emerge as a threat towards the end of Split 1 here, what a better way to do it. I mean, Rain Day,
yeah.
What do you think of that?
Well, I think he's appropriately describing what is not just a threat to a region, but could be a global threat at this point. Zidane's already lifted that trophy at a high level. And, you know, it reminds me of a guy who's just got a mission. He's taking things, you know, personally. He's saying, let me go out and prove myself again. And, you know, you got to stay splitting up from the team that you won, being the one out of the 3 that split. The other 2 stayed together. You feel some type of way. I would understand it. I would get it. And Make EU Great Again, man. What a statement that they've made, especially with some of those players in this lobby right beneath them in Aurora. Wonderful stuff there. And I got to say, guys, it was a great day overall. Obviously, the Horde, really a strong day. I'm a little, I guess, underwhelmed with Stay Healthy's finish. They had such a phenomenal game. And then they've only gotten, I think, like 5 points since then in the last 3 on E-District. So Tiff didn't really get it done. But overall, I mean, these graphs kind of tell the story of the teams we expect to performing. Not a lot of those teams that we expected to maybe say, hey, could you have your game? Could you have your weekend and really change things? Deciding to take the game into their own hands here, unfortunately.
That's really all you can do, right? You just have to look at it, take it game by game, and just focus on your journey to LAN, because that's really all you can control. We know that everything's going to shake up with all the recent changes, the addition of Axel not actually getting banned, and those constant just questionings of what do my timings look like? What are my rotations looking like? And it's just really interesting to see people adapt.
It's in many ways, I want to show you guys something pretty funny, but in many ways, you've got me saying something about Axel that I want you to remind me of, okay? So if you can do that for me. Because right now, I want to say the Aurora Death Box dynamic, Brav. I mean, are they feeling themselves here?
I mean, that's a clear statement, right? That reticle is placed on a very specific name. I will let all of the gameplay do the talking, but actually, I shouldn't say that. He was didn't really care. He was he's shooting all the boxes and doing even more that I won't exactly explicitly talk about, but a little bit of back and forth between these two, without a doubt.
Tactical crouching.
I think that's the term. That's the term.
Yeah, that's the term. I mean, as a Halo guy, you should understand that. And
I got you.
You know, Tiff came in. Thank you for the save there. I mean, listen, let's go to the conversation here. Aurora, obviously, dominant team. This was a big separating day. This is Alliance and Aurora's day, fighting together, and Aurora took the cake. They were literally putting pressure on Alliance so much. The Alliance was kind of having to try to do something different. It did not work. The Conduit Axel did not work for them. I like that they're trying it, though. I think it's going to help them in the long run, but they took the L, which many teams were not willing to take here in EMEA. The Horde jump up, GG as well, Orda up, staying there. Alliance still in a decent position, although they are on the bubble of that 9th. You just can't feel too worried about a team that good, though, Tiff. But the teams that we wanted to jump up that are in Group A, like Citadel Gaming, I mean, that's it. There is no way for them to hit 9th. They are in 12th. They don't have another game to play, so that is the highest that they're going to be in. Orgless and Hungary as well. They're going to be hoping to not get pushed out of regional finals, and that is their last chance. So we'll be hoping for a big day in day 10.
I hate leaving it all to like one last chance in regional finals, but some of the stories that come from that are just so incredible. But Mega, after a really powerful performance, slot into 8 for now. Like, I'm feeling good after that.
Yeah. Our standout performances were amongst our teams too. We got to highlight the individuals who stood out in our Sony In-Zone kill leaderboard of today. And it's no surprise which team this man comes from, but Nate just fitting in phenomenally. Make EU great again. We talked about the synergy with Mega, and we highlighted Zidane being a part of this and taking in the slot that Nasky was holding. But Zidane, Nate, and Kiner, man, that crew, they've elevated each other. Brav, it's a kind of an example of the whole is greater than the sum of its parts, where they all got better. And Nate, maybe the best and clearest example of somebody who wasn't on the top of these leaderboards, but certainly now that team's played so well, he's got a chance to be.
Yeah, without a doubt. I think, like you said, the sum is absolutely greater, and especially let's not forget, this not only is the entire team French speaking, but also that lets them pick up kind of the French coach that they wanted in Sanka. It's like this team will be operating on a whole different level. And like you said, Nate coming in kind of outside the top two and kill leader so far this season, that will almost certainly put him maybe into the top 2 running on the region, depending on exactly how yesterday netted out. But yeah, I think it's a continuing story for Omega. There's no doubt that the trajectory is one direction, and that is straight kind of forward for them, and they're looking better than ever.
And this is, again, we talked about it yesterday, Tiff. Graceful was clear to mention that these kills don't tell the whole story. And as a guy probably who was on a team with somebody else getting a ton of kills and Grace going, but wait, I did so much damage, you know, basically saying like, yeah, no, I did something to that. He's on Caustic for 12 of these kills. He's not running in and running down players. This is Mega playing great, and Nate's just being the one to really capitalize on it, which is, it's a shout to him, but it's also a shout to the entire team.
Yeah, I love that you point that out, right? It's not just like he's on those hyper aggro characters. He's showing that he can do it on Mad Maggie, he can do it on Caustic, and it still throws up 7,000 damage throughout those 6 games. Looking really nice doing it. For the team as a whole, 37 kills. 38 assists, 20k damage almost. It's nice, right? We questioned, hey, you know, you're coming off one of your better match day performances alongside Nasky. Nasky takes the retirement, in comes Zidane, and you get a match day win. They're looking good.
And I actually think it looks better that they have second in kills and overall first in points, because it means they're putting together a complete series, Brob.
Yeah.
And a lot of these types of teams, they do get a little bit one-sided, especially when they have this much firepower. But the fact that they're showing, you know, to be a threat on all aspects of the game, that's why I think I elevated, you know, the regional threat to a global one, because if they can really do this, this is a team you're going to have to pay attention to if they're in their groups at LAN.
Definitely. I think, and you have to be so well-rounded at this level with how close things are. I think one great example is we came into today with Alliance and Aurora tied perfectly at 118 kills apiece, which, by the way, is pretty noteworthy for the rivalry alone. But you also got to talk about those two teams are separated by 4 placings on the overall leaderboard. So, Ray and I just agree that having the kills alone clearly is not enough when you're looking at this level. If you want to be, first of all, qualifying for LAN, but beyond that, one of the best teams in the world, you got to do the whole picture, because if you don't, another team's going to have a much more rounded kind of balanced score than you do.
You know, I wanted to bring this up, and this is the thing I asked you guys to remind me of, but one of the weird things about this lobby and EMEA in general is the fact that they don't ban Axel, and the fact that you mentioned these kind of, well, every game they've got to figure out. You know, if they all just played Axel game 1, they wouldn't have to think about it for the rest of the series. And I feel like, you know, and I think a lot of regions are kind of going that route, and it's making it very simple. Like, it's almost more complicated to not agree and to have her available in every game in every scenario, to where maybe she's only 3 out of the 20 squads. But you heard Zuni, you got to play like she's going to be there in 0.5 seconds every game.
Yeah, I think the big thing there is, I think, just to point out, it was a one pick difference. Otherwise, Axel's banned in EMEA today, so it was an alter ban, 1 pick over Axel. So I think we're going to see something similar in the Americas, and I agree. I think your dream scenario of everyone playing game 1 is only ruined by everyone playing Crypto game 1. Otherwise, we might have something like that. But yeah,
that's true.
It's going to be essentially, I expect to see something later on in Americas where it's one ban that decides the order as well.
Yeah, and I think, you know, you look at it, Tiff, I mean, Crypto, Axel, Alter, that's been something Falcons have been running, and a lot of top teams in Americas have been, you know, kind of experimenting with that full aggression. But, you know, I like this version of A versus C, because we did get to see the conduit more so than ever. It dropped off in E-District particularly, but I just feel like we're at a pretty healthy state in terms of variety. I think people were worried about how Axel might impact the ALGS, but in many ways, I feel like the ecosystem's only gotten healthier in terms of actual choices of viable compositions.
Yeah, but it's still something that you have to be cognizant of, right? If you have potential in game 6, we had 5 Axel picks, knowing that there's still a chance. But I do think that this was very reminiscent of what we've seen in scrims for A versus C. Now, Watson does get banned in match number 5 as opposed to match number 4. Usually Valk lives out just a bit longer. Yeah. But for the most part, seeing Crypto go game 1, like a 1 pick difference, 1 ban to rule them all. I don't know. You can say whatever you want to say, but if Axel goes out game 1 in Americas, that would be interesting. I don't don't think that's going to happen. I think it's going to stick to crypto, though.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you there. We'll see what the learnings have been in yesterday's matches heading into today's, and obviously that gives us a lot of time to figure things out. And EMEA, though, real conversations we had, Brav, coming into this, it was the people on the backside of it. You know, not to avoid the conversation of regional finals, but no one wants to wait, as Tiff said, to that final day to try to make something happen, especially because if you've waited till the final day, that means you haven't made it happen up until then. So it's not like you're banking off your experience of doing it well. You're like, we need to do something entirely different.
Certainly, and I think, you know, we got to wrap up the CTG story. Didn't make it happen today, so it will be them looking for the Hail Mary at regional finals. In terms of 12th, I think other teams that we're keeping a close eye on, it's especially HM. Let's not forget they have, of course, a game in hand, a lack thereof in terms of a game in hand where they need to still play a different series, but HM was kind of top 7, so they need to make sure that they get right back in the running for LAN as well.
Ooh. For Fun Esports, they were phenomenal yesterday. Virtus Pro as well. All of the teams, you know, in that area that were in the top 10, 2 of them did not play. The others, they played today, and some of them will be done. Some will play again, but for Virtus Pro to still be 2nd and 3rd, game in hand, that is exciting for them. They're certainly going to be having a very good shot in that next lobby as Alliance, Virtus Pro, For Fun Esports, and Aurora all going to be playing next weekend. That's going to be a big one, especially determining dominance in EMEA. Anybody else, Tiff, that stood out to you today? I know Orgless and Hungary was a little bit of the story. You know, Blessed, they were a team I kind of commented on. They had a pretty decent Storm Point game. They're sitting in 10th. Can they push past that threshold? We'd love to see Max Strafey get a chance to come to LAN finally. What stood out to you as we continue to take a look at these standings and continue to think about what they mean heading into LAN?
Yeah, I just want to briefly touch on Stay Healthy. They had that pop-off game. Sure, it kind of tapered off, but they still have a game to play, and who knows? We've seen what they can do. Maybe they can lay it down again.
Well, Alliance don't really have to worry about this. Well, actually, they do. VK Gaming's our EWC defender. Alliance won the year prior, Brav, but that's going to go to VK Gaming. They're the only team qualified right now. We might actually have some qualifications when the today is done for a few teams based on who can push by, but we haven't got those confirmed yet. This is going to be a big one, man. And obviously the team's gearing up. America, as we turn our attention to that, but the stakes have never been higher, especially as we get geared up for Paris.
Yeah, and especially as you can see the confirmation coming in just this week that everything will be headed to Paris. And you even saw yesterday, it was kind of cool to see, just on the topic you mentioned, Rain, where a few teams are kind of getting an idea of the points. You saw a few teams across both regions, from Sentinels come to mind, saying this is essentially secured for us. We can't wait to be there. And I agree. You look at the calendar for Apex Legends, and each LAN means so much. And I think when you look at how rich this ecosystem is, how rich this scene is, think about it. LAN champions become heroes. Think of the there's going to be documentaries from Jayhawk and Jumba. These people become heroes in a way that not every esport gets. And I think that is not lost on people. There are obviously huge cash prizes, but it is the prestige in this scene that will kind of be the lasting thing that I think a lot of people, when you see another team do it, you're like, and you heard kind of Sentinels talk about how much it meant to them. It's like, God, I want that. And I think it's just going to be a special moment. And just to wrap that up, everyone wants to be there, and it's a close race right now.
Well, I know a few guys that have probably spent a bunch of time in their lives around Paris. That's, of course, our French squad, and now fully French, of course, Mega, make EU great again, and found a way to jump up on top of the leaderboard. And we have a chance for the man in the lead here. Although Nate did take the kill leaderboard today, Zidane certainly has added that huge influx of energy to make this team just look unstoppable this afternoon. Congrats, Zidane. Welcome to the show, and thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you.
So I want to give you the opportunity to say what's on your mind. Obviously, you know, you've had a journey, because coming in from hoisting the championship, being that guy that is basically at the top of Apex, your entire team has had different journeys from different orgs, from splitting up from Hierarcha and Shaco, finding your own rhythm, and now joining Mega. I want to hear how it's been for you. What's been on top of your mind? What has been your journey getting to this point? And obviously, how do you feel after getting to the top of the totem pole today?
I mean, it has been a tough time for me, because I had to I was trying to find my way in the team I was joining, you know, because I knew what I wanted from my teammate, what I wanted to do with my team, and yeah, that's what I was trying to find. So I was playing with Infinite in the earlier Pro League, and I decided to change because I felt like it could not work, and I just went with Kainer and Nate. Kainer is one of my previous teammates, so I knew it would work. I was just like, I know Nate is good, so I was like, okay, I think this is the team that can fit me. So yeah, that's basically what happened, and yeah, I'm like really happy that I've joined them because I think we can do like great thing.
I love that. First off, I want to say the reunite between you and Kainer is really cool because I remember the Le Site de France days, and I think this this team for Mega, right? It's solid. You get the match day win. EWC's coming to Paris. You slot into 8th overall in the series results. What's the goal for you guys going to LAN again? Right, like.
My goal is always to win, even more because it's in Paris. Like I need to win. It's in my my town. It's in France, you know. So I have to win. If I'm qualifying to AWC, that's definitely my win. There's no one else. Like I'm gonna win that. So yeah, my goal is to win every time. Like I will always be going for the win, nothing else.
Hell yeah, that's amazing. So Don, I want to ask you, I was talking to Sanka this week about kind of you joining the team and also you stepping into the IGL role. Clearly, based on the results, things went really well, but I wanted to hear how IGLing has been feeling, how it felt today, and how it feels kind of the team chemistry.
It has been hard in the beginning because I wasn't full IGLing since a while. Like the last time I IGL fully was before going to champ with Yaka and Ixako. So that was the last time I IGL. So that was like a while ago. So I decided to IGL again with them. And yeah, in the beginning, it was really tough because you have to think about a lot of stuff. You can't do like too much. You need to find the, how to say, the middle, you know, like you need to find your way how to play and how to make your team play. So like it's really hard, but we work together. That was like a lot of points I've asked them to work on to make like every one game day or like everyone playing easier. So I think we did great. We worked on it really good. So yeah, I'm really happy for like what they do and the work they give to me.
Cool.
All right, Zidane, I got to ask a question, man, because, you know, I've always watched you from above, but I looked at my ex a few weeks ago, maybe a month ago, and I saw your name pop up and I said, why am I being tweeted about Zidane? And actually, we have the tweet that you had tweeted to me, and unbeknownst to me, you had felt a kind of way about an interview we had done. I don't even know who it was. It might have been No, I'm not sure. And he says he woke up from a long nap, and I see that there are people who've never touched competition, never touched a scrim, who allow themselves publicly to give their SH blank opinions next time.
Well,
keep your words well down in your throat before using them without thinking. Now, I'm assuming, because it's going to be crazy if that was not directed to him. I'm assuming you're talking to the player I was interviewing, because I didn't say nothing.
The thing is, what I've heard, because I just woke up and I've got message for like, oh, someone talked about you, someone said this, and I was like, what? Is anyone talking? Even like, no, let's say, look what is behind me. I don't know how to point it. You see this? Like, that guy cannot talk because I have this, you know? I can even like, you know, like they can do. They have everything to be talking, but they can't. They just can't. Like, they're like newborn, you know? So like when I've heard that people were saying about what we did in scrims and everything, I was like, why is people talking about what we are doing in scrims if we need work or anything? They don't know if I need work. Like if I'm, you know, I know what I have to do. I'm world champ. I know what I have to do and I gotta do. I'm the one who knows. They don't know. So that was in general, you know, like that was the thing that when I woke up, I was a bit mad. So I was just like, you know, tweeting out of my mind because like I've heard so much stuff for like a while, you know. So that was just like the thing that just too much.
Hey man, well you got your fire back. I just want to say, you know, leave me out of it. It ain't about me.
I'm just chilling.
If anyone else casting wants to say anything next time, I will tweet something. I say stuff in public.
Wait, you really thought we were saying something about you? You actually thought that was to me?
No, I really thought that you guys were saying like how to say in a bad way that we need.
No.
I thought you guys were saying like we need to improve.
Dan
we need
Gaskin
to work.
was.
Wait, are we just throwing Dan under a bus?
That's
I don't know who it was.
I'm kidding.
I'm just saying.
And hit Dan.
No, I
I'm
think
kidding.
most importantly, Zidane, luckily, I think you just let the results do the talking today. Like, I think
I like that.
I agree.
I like that.
People might try to say something, but they absolutely cannot because I think the results kind of spoke for themselves today.
He also had the medal ready.
Yeah. Hey, you put yourself in a position.
Yeah, see,
you've
he's ready.
You've hoisted the trophy, man. I don't call out people who hoist trophies, but the fact that NOVO did, I think, it's interesting. I like that you have a little chip on your shoulder, though, and I honestly think that that's the way to win. You guys got to go in with that attitude. So, water under the bridge, but you be careful on the ass, man, because I'm being gentle right now. Being gentle. I appreciate you, though. Congratulations, man. It was a good win today.
So much.
Glad to talk to you.
I appreciate
Congrats,
it.
man.
Thank you.
You crushed it. Bring it home. Bring it home.
All right, so Don, for making you great again. Thank you so much, man. A big win today. Wow, what a fun way to end that interview. I'm glad we got to the bottom of it, too.
I was going to say, I know you've been thinking about that, Rain. Yeah.
He wakes up every day. I love that Zidon's like, look, I woke up and I was a little mad. I've been hearing some things. Look, I wake up mad all the time. I don't like being woken up. So to have that happen, my favorite thing apart that, guys, he's got the medal. He's got the champion jacket right behind him, and he's coming to bring it home. He's like, look, if it's coming to Paris, there is nothing left for us but to win it. The fact that you get to calm in French, you're ready, you're prepared. Awesome. Like it's feeling really full circle, right?
Yeah, Brav. I mean, what a great way to end the day and also preview where we're going with EMEA. Their last time we're going to see them is going to be next weekend before we head into regional finals. But Paris and Mega and their additions, I mean, they're looking like another team we have to consider as a front runner here in EMEA and maybe the global leaderboards.
Yeah, I mean, you guys said it best. Let's keep in mind that also extends, even though, of course, Mega wants to win on home turf in Paris. That's going to extend, right? Players in Europe, there's so much talk in Apex about EU LAN. These EU teams want to win on European soil without a doubt. It's going to be high stakes, and as you saw from the leaderboard, man, a lot of games yet to be played, and you could see a lot of shifting in the standings before we end the regular season.
All right, well, speaking of waking up, I know, Tiff, you woke up early, probably because your little one, my little one woke me up at 5 a.m. I'm ready to shut the show down. We got another one coming. So let's take a break here, guys. Thanks so much. We'll see you for the Americas. And as I said correctly, yes, we are coming back with more Apex Legends later on this afternoon at 3 p.m. PST. We will be back. So it's about an hour and 50 minutes, 50, not 15. Almost 2 hours from now, a little bit less, we will be back with the Americas. We'll see our final day of our doubleheader this weekend, and we'll see what adjustments have been made. Group A takes their final stand. It didn't work for the EMEA teams who were on the bubble to really make any headway, but will Americas be different? You'll have to stay tuned and watch. Thank you to all of our players for an amazing show, our broadcast team, Respawn, EA for putting together this type of game, and all of you guys watching. We hope you stay tuned. Remember to never give up, never stop gaming, and we will see you all in Americas.